Yeah, man, my name is Jimmy. I come from Jamaica, bro. We're gonna sing Mato Vu. Oh, 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 oh. Mato Vu, Ohalecha Yaakov. משכנותיך ישראל, מה טובו אוהליך יעקב. משכנותיך ישראל. This comes from the portion of Balak. Bilam thinks he's gonna curse Israel, but really in the end his plan derails into nothing and it ends up blessing Israel. מה טובו עליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. Bilam thinks he's bad, he's really good because he blessed Israel instead of putting them in a bad mood. He did not curse them, he did bless them. He blessed them with these words: מה טובו עליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. Yo, Bilam did not curse Israel, he ended up blessing them with the following words: מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. He talked to a donkey, beat it up. He beat it up. But the donkey still loved him a lot and it taught him a lot. But he ended up being bad. He never turned a new leaf. He ended up being a villain forever and ever and ever and ever. מה טובו עליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. Everybody listen, gather around. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. Listen to those words. Research them. The translation in English, they are good. Good words Bilam spoke, but he meant to curse Israel. He ended up blessing them instead. The donkey helped a lot, but he still ended up being bad. מה טובו עליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך, מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome. I have decided to relocate my office for one Shabbat. My name is Rabbi Shapira. I hope you like my new office. But all kidding aside, myself and the Rebbetzin are on the road. We are traveling throughout the state of Washington. We are going to be teaching for the next couple of days in Spokane, Washington, this upcoming Wednesday. In Thursday, we're going to be in Wenatchee. Next Shabbat in Tacoma, Washington. And Sunday, special yeshiva for the 17th of Tammuz. I sincerely hope that you are excited about our services. Just a little bit about us. Ahavat Amim Ministries is focused on the reconciliation between Yosef and the Jewish people and Yosef and the nations. Our message is a message of reconciliation where all are welcome and invited to join to the house of Israel. So we say to all of you, Bruchim Habayim. And I'm in the outdoor today because I'm recording 10 new episodes of the Rivka Remnant to you with the release of the book in Korean. It's actually going to be very intense. We need a lot of prayers over the next few weeks. We have South Korea, we have France, we have Africa, we have to go all throughout the West Coast. So please keep us, and the Dominican Republic, please keep us in prayers. Your prayers and also your gift, your financial support. It's so important. It's critical. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for every gift that you are putting right now in faith toward this work. God bless you for all of those things. On Shabbat morning, our structure is very, very cool. We start with studying the Word of God, looking at the Word of God, and then immediately after that we enter into the Shacharit for the week, which we to go through the Torah service, and then I come back and give you a Torah, Shiur Torah. So today is not exception to this. I need you to hit shares and like today. If you have not had the chance, yes, get the Rivka Remnant because I have a surprise for you today. Guess what? We have done a mini course on the Rivka Remnant. I have decided to this particular mini yeshiva in English and Spanish to give it to you as a gift. And today is a good day to give you a gift from our ministry to you. Part 1 is we're going to enter into part 1 today together for this. And it's going to be in English and Spanish, friend. We need to understand these end times. We need to understand Rivka. We need to understand Eliezer. If you have not read it, you've got to read this book. And today we're going to talk about this through this. And I hope that it will be a tremendous blessing to you. Immediately after that, I'll come back to some announcements and we'll enter into Shacharit. I'm so excited you are here. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. May the mighty one of Israel bless you, protect you, keep you safe. All the blessing, all the provision to come upon you, your family, your household, and your community in the merit of our Messiah. Shabbat Shalom. What a joy it is to be with everybody here.
Cuánto gozo es estar aquí con todos ustedes.
And to see you thriving and succeeding.
Y mirando que ustedes han manejado excediendo las expectativas.
Now, I'm here today because I want to talk to you about something that affects all of us.
Estoy aquí porque quiero hablarles de algo que nos afecta a todos nosotros.
You know, I want to talk about the gas prices.
Saben, no voy a estar hablando del precio de la gasolina.
In Hebrew, we use the word inflatia. Inflation.
Esa es la palabra inflación. No voy a hablar de eso.
Yeah, seriously, I want to talk about that.
Okay, quizás voy a hablar sobre eso.
Because we are living in an interesting time that we are experiencing another form of inflation.
Porque estamos viviendo un tiempo muy interesante y estamos viviendo otra forma de inflación.
A spiritual inflation.
Una inflación espiritual.
It appears to me since 2020, since the pandemic,
y me parece a mí que desde el 2020, durante la pandemia,
that people are on edge.
Estamos en una época.
You notice everything set everything off just like that.
Saben que todo pasa así.
And it's difficult to discern or to find God right now in the world.
Así que tenemos que tener discernimiento para ver qué es lo que pasa en el mundo.
In Tehillim chapter 89,
en Salmos capítulo 89,
we see this term Akevot HaMashiach mentioned.
miramos este término
Footsteps of Mashiach.
en los pasos del Mesías.
And it says that on those days it will be even difficult to recognize God in the world.
Y dice que aún en esos días va a ser muy difícil reconocer a Dios en el mundo.
And the question that we continuously seeing and in the book of Peter, we see that this question even asked to the
Y
believer
la pregunta, y continuamos viendo en el libro de Pedro,
is this question.
hace esta pregunta.
What kind of people are you going to be?
¿Qué clase de persona vas a ser tú?
And this is the question of the day.
Y esta es la pregunta de hoy.
What kind of people are we going to be in those
¿Qué
days?
clase de persona vamos a ser en este tiempo?
So, we are releasing today a very significant work.
Hoy vamos a lanzar un trabajo muy significativo.
In 2020, we released the Buenos Nuevas Seguin.
En el 2020 lanzamos la Besorah acuerdo a COVID-19.
It was about 1,200 pages.
Son 1,200 páginas.
So I released the first 550.
Así que lanzamos los primeros 550
And I took it to my good friend,
y lo llevé a mi buen amigo,
Rabbi Gil Al-Khadef.
el rabino Gil.
Gil Al-Khadef. Yeah, he's not a Messianic rabbi.
Él no es un rabino mesiánico,
He's an Orthodox rabbi.
él es un rabino ortodoxo
He doesn't believe in Yeshua.
que no cree en Yeshua.
And I told him, will you read it?
Y le pregunté, ¿puedes leerlo?
He called me a week later,
Y una semana más tarde,
and he was weeping.
él estaba llorando.
He and his wife, Hannah.
Él y su esposa Hannah.
He says, not only that I read it,
No solamente lo leyeron,
I want to give the verbal endorsement
yo quise que él nos diera su punto de vista verbal
with a signature, my signature.
con mi firma.
So we actually ended with something miraculous.
Entonces terminamos con algo milagroso.
A book about the coming of Mashiach,
Un libro que habla de la venida del Mesías
endorsed by Orthodox. Not even one. We have 3 rabbis
fue
that
endorsado
are Orthodox to endorse
por
this.
no solo un rabino ortodoxo. Tenemos más de 2 rabinos
That is a
ortodoxos.
miracle.
Esto es un milagro.
But it's telling me something,
Pero esto me dice algo.
that God is not done or through with our Jewish people,
Que Dios no ha terminado con nuestro pueblo judío.
even those who do not believe yet in Mashiach.
Aún con estos que no conocen
He's
el
working
Mesías.
on them, he's
Él
preparing
está
them.
trabajando en ellos, Él está preparándolos.
And I promise you, all those Batei Chabad,
Y
houses of
les
Chabad,
prometo que todas estas casas de Chabad,
only God sees the complete plan.
solamente Dios tiene el plan completo.
One day there will be Bet Yeshua.
Un día ellos van a reconocer, van a ser
They
la
will be.
casa de Yeshua.
They will be, I promise you, they
Yo te
will
lo
be.
prometo que va a ser.
God is preparing their network right now.
Dios está preparando la red ahora mismo.
And the message in this particular volume,
Y el mensaje en este volumen particular,
and I wasn't really brave enough to release the other 550
y
pages,
no tuve la valentía de lanzar los otros 550 páginas,
is a message very simple.
es un mensaje muy simple.
I want to talk a lot about prophecy with you today.
Quiero hablar de profecía mucho hoy con ustedes.
We have to understand something about Nevi'e Israel, the prophet of Israel.
Necesitamos entender acerca de la profecía de Israel.
Look at this here.
Noten esto.
We have multiple cameras.
Tenemos muchas cámaras.
We have a camera here, we have a camera
Tenemos
here.
una cámara allá, tenemos otra cámara aquí.
A prophet, when he prophesies,
Un profeta cuando profetiza
I have a single camera.
tiene solamente una cámara.
He doesn't have all cameras.
No tiene tantas cámaras.
But other prophets come and he sees this the same event from another angle.
Pero viene otro profeta y mira el mismo evento desde un ángulo diferente.
Nevuah is like this, putting a movie together.
Nebuá, profecía, es como poner una película.
Now there are 2 different types of nevuot.
Hay 2 diferentes clases de profecía.
And this is something that I want to make you really think about what I'm about to say.
Y esto es que quiero hacerlos pensar sobre lo que yo estoy acerca de decir.
We have the type of nevuah called in Hebrew, nevuat po'anut.
Tenemos una clase de profecía en hebreo que se llama Nebuat
Po'anut.
Po'anut.
This word po'anut is any prophecy that is negative in nature.
Esta clase de profecía es una profecía que es por naturaleza negativa.
And you have what's called nevuah tovah.
Y tenemos la otra que es nevuah tovah,
Now the prophet
que es buena profecía.
Jeremiah tell us
El profeta Jeremías nos dice
that the job of a navi,
que el trabajo de un profeta
is to bring people to teshuvah.
es traer a las personas al arrepentimiento.
So he's like the person who do, no, I want to warn you.
No es como una persona que dice, no, yo te quiero advertir.
The Navi, this is very important. The Navi does not have a magic crystal ball, not at all.
El profeta no funciona como una rueda mágica.
Now here is the rule of Jewish hermeneutics, the way we are to look at Nevuot, because we are living in times that a lot of Nevuot will be fulfilled.
Esta es la regla dentro del judaísmo, cómo funciona una profecía.
If there is a negative prophecy that you read in the Bible,
Si hay una profecía negativa que tú lees en la Biblia,
it does not have to be fulfilled.
no tiene que ser que pasar.
The prophet Jeremiah tells us only a good prophecy has to be fulfilled, not a negative prophecy.
El profeta Jeremías le dice, solamente la profecía buena se tiene que cumplir, pero no la negativa.
Just because you read something in the book of Revelation
Solamente porque tú lees algo en el libro de Apocalipsis
doesn't mean it have to happen.
no significa que tiene que pasar.
Because the entire Geulah is dependent upon choices
Porque toda la redención depende en decisiones
that you and I are going to make.
que tú y yo vamos a hacer.
Now this time,
Ahora, este tiempo,
think about what the Navi says.
piensa sobre lo que el profeta dice.
Gracias, thank you so much.
Gracias.
Think about what the Navi says to Israel.
Piensa acerca de lo que un profeta le
The
dice a
Navi
Israel.
Yeshayahu says,
El profeta Isaías dice,
go to the cheder.
ve al Heder.
Cheder. The word cheder is room.
La palabra Heder es
Lock
un lugar, una habitación.
the door
Cierra la puerta
until the wrath will pass.
hasta que la ira pase.
Now the rabbis of Israel come and say something interesting about the cheder.
Así el rabino Shapira vino aquí a decir algo interesante acerca
What
del Heder, de ese
is
cuarto.
the picture of the cheder? What is
¿Cuál
the
es la imagen de ese Heder, de ese cuarto?
Well, those of you who study a little bit Hebrew,
Para eso de ustedes que están estudiando un poco de hebreo,
we had chet, dalet, and reish.
tenemos Het, Dalet y Reish.
It represents the three different stages
Representa las tres diferentes etapas
in the way which view human race, the time, the way God viewed the world.
en la manera de que Dios mira al mundo.
Chet is for chesed.
Het es por misericordia.
It's a time that God does not judge the world. It's a time of grace.
Es el tiempo de gracia, el tiempo que Dios no juzga al mundo.
And then dalet is for the word din or
Y
judgment.
tenemos la letra Dalet, que es para juicio.
And then reish is for the word rachamim, mercy.
Y tenemos la letra Reish, que es por la palabra Rahamim,
And this is very
misericordia.
important because after din, there's always going to be mercy.
Y esto es muy importante porque después de Din, de juicio, vamos a tener misericordia.
The question that one have to ask ourselves, what determine how long we are going to be under judgment, under curse, and how can we move forward to
La
rachamim?
pregunta es, ¿cuánto tiempo voy a estar en ese tiempo de juicio? ¿Y cuánto tiempo me costará moverme a la etapa de misericordia?
Now this is very important.
Esto es muy importante.
The duration of each stage
La duración de cada paso
does not depend upon God,
no depende de Dios,
but rather depend upon our actions.
depende de nuestras acciones.
In Judaism, we call this hamtakat adin, the
En-
sweetening of the dinim.
En-
There's still judgment, but you can shorten it.
En este tiempo estamos en tiempo de juicio, pero tenemos la oportunidad de acortarlo.
And this concept that somehow we can affect the heavens and how heaven is judged earth is shocking.
Y este concepto de que lo que pasa en la tierra afecta a los cielos, esto es asombroso.
And some
De
say,
miedo.
well, this is almost heretical.
Esto es algo herético.
But I want you to think about what the book of Peter tells us in 2 Peter chapter 3.
Pero quiero decirles que dice Pedro en Pedro 2.
And if you want the reference, I'm just going to paraphrase it. It's 2 Peter 3,
Es
11
segunda
and 12.
de Pedro 3, 11 al 12.
He says, since heaven and earth going to melt in such a way, a judgment comes.
Dice, como el cielo y la tierra van a derretirse de una manera en juicio,
He asked the question, what kind of people
pregunta, ¿qué clase de persona
shall you be?
debería ser?
And he listened to the answer that Peter is giving it.
Y Pedro nos da la respuesta.
You are to live your life
Tú debes que vivir tu vida
in godliness
de una manera buena, de Dios santa,
and holiness.
en santidad,
And through this,
y a través de esto
you will hasten,
tú vas a acelerar acelerar
the coming of the Lord.
la venida del Señor.
The Brit HaChadashah is telling us that we can hasten the day that the Mashiach will come back.
El Brit Hadashah nos está diciendo que nosotros podemos acelerar la venida del Mashiach.
We don't have to sit today all depressed and try to understand, are we in the second horseman or the third horseman and all that of nonsense.
No necesitamos sentarnos deprimidos en el primer caballo, el segundo caballo, el tercer caballo.
Because this story is going to be concluded by you and I. We have the pen in our hand. We determine how the Geula will come.
Porque la historia va a ser concluida por tú y yo. Y nosotros determinamos la redención.
You follow what I'm telling you? Nothing is over
Nada se termina.
Until we take the actions.
Hasta que nosotros tomemos la acción.
So write yourself as a rule. Prophecy is conditional. I'll give you one quick example. This is very important.
La profecía es condicionada.
Jonah come to Nineveh.
Miren, le voy a dar un ejemplo. Jonás vino a Nínive.
In 40 days.
En 40 días, nada. No va a haber nada de Nínive.
What happened?
¿Qué pasó?
Did the city turn?
¿Qué pasó?
No, they spared Nineveh. Why was Nineveh was spared?
Se fueron salvos.
Nineveh was spared because they made a teshuvah.
Nínive fue salvo porque hicieron teshuvah, se arrepintieron.
So when Peter says you are to live your life in holiness and godliness,
así que cuando Peter dice que tenemos que vivir una vida santa,
we have to ask ourselves the question, what is the definition of Torah?
Entonces tenemos que hacer una pregunta, ¿cuál es la definición en la Torah?
Torah equal holiness.
La Torah es igual a santidad.
Romans chapter 7:12. This is not even
Romanos 7:11.
Yes. He says the Torah is holy. The Torah is good.
Dice la Torah es santa, la Torah es buena.
So the answer that is given,
así que la respuesta que nos
very
da
important. We need,
es muy importante.
We need Torah.
Y necesitamos Torah.
And a matter of fact, even in this
de hecho, aún en este Shabbat,
we just
pasamos
Parashat Naso.
Parashat Naso.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how far I'm going to get. This is
no, yo lo siento. Esto es solo una introducción. No sé qué tanto voy a avanzar.
This is very important to understand Torah.
Pero esto es muy importante de entender Torah.
To the lens of prophecy.
Con los lentes de profecía.
I heard the craziest thing this week.
Yo pasé la cosa más loca esta semana.
In Romans chapter 3 verse 1 and 2.
En número 2.
No,
Romanos 3, 1 y 2.
Rav Shaul asked the question.
Rav Shaul pregunta.
What advantage is it being Jewish? What advantage is circumcision?
¿Qué ventaja tiene ser judío? ¿Qué ventaja tiene la circuncisión?
And he answered the question, says it's much in every way.
Y se responde el mismo, es más en todo.
Because the oracles of God,
porque los oráculos de Elohim han sido confiados.
Listen,
escuchen.
A Messianic Jewish rabbi called me this week.
Un rabino judío mesiánico me llamó esta semana.
He says that when Paul says the oracle of God been entrusted to the Jews,
y me dijo que cuando Pablo dijo que los oráculos de Dios pertenecen a los judíos,
it doesn't mean prophecy.
Que no significa profecía.
I said, what do you think the oracles of God are?
Y yo le pregunto, ¿qué tú sabes que son los oráculos de Dios?
Israel que Moshe. Not the reason a prophet in Israel is Moses.
No ha habido un profeta en Israel como Moisés.
What do you think Torah is?
¿Qué piensas tú que es la Torah?
Book of laws and
Un
regulations.
libro de leyes y regulaciones.
Who do you think Moshe Rabbeinu was?
¿Por qué crees que Mashiach vino la primera
Moshe
vez?
Rabbeinu was a Navi. First and foremost, he was a Navi. He was a prophet.
Moisés fue un profeta.
So everything you read from Genesis 1:1 is all
Todo.
concerning prophecy.
Todo lo que tú lees, empezando desde Génesis 1, es profecía.
And those who read El Regreso de Morano
Y esos
Kosher
que han leído el regreso del marrano
should
kosher,
know by memory Sanhedrin.
tienen que conocer de memoria Sanedrín.
Sanhedrin 99a.
No, Sanedrín 99,
All the word of the prophets
Todas las palabras de los profetas
For the coming of Mashiach.
son están basadas en el
There is no
venida del
such thing
Mashiach.
in Torah that is not messianic. Everything
No.
is messianic.
No hay nada en la Torah que no sea mesiánico. Todo es mesiánico.
Look at this Torah portion this week.
Miren, o escuchen la Torah de esta semana.
We have son of Gershon,
Tenemos los hijos de Gersón,
son of Kahat,
los de hijos de Kahat,
son of Merari.
los hijos de Merari.
Think about this.
Piensa sobre esto.
What is Merari? What
¿Qué-
is the word Merari?
¿Qué es Merari? ¿Qué significa la palabra
The rabbis of
Merari?
Israel tell us this is the
Los-
three stages of the world.
Los rabinos de Israel nos dicen que estos
Like we
son los
talk about
tres,
Chesed, Din, Rachamim.
hablando
Like I spoke earlier about the
como
Chesed.
hablé antes de Rajamín, de misericordia.
Well, what is Merari? It's from the word Maror.
¿Qué es Merari? Viene la palabra Maror.
It is a time that the people will go through bitterness.
Es un tiempo que la gente va a pasar un tiempo de amargura.
What about Gershon?
¿Qué ahora acerca de Gersón?
That's where we get the expression Girush Sefarad, the
De
time
eso
of exile of our
Es el
people.
tiempo del exilio de nuestra gente. De ahí viene la Gerush
Do you
Sefarad.
see, everything is prophecy.
Sí, todo es profecía.
And what about Kahat?
¿Y qué acerca de Kahat?
What does it says in Genesis 49?
¿Qué dice en Génesis 49?
The scepter will not depart from Yehuda.
El cetro no se
the
irá de
ruler
Yehuda
stop between his feet,
hasta que Yehuda se ponga en sus
so
pies,
that the tribute will come to him.
para que venga el tributo a
What is the
ellos.
tribute? Shiloh.
¿Cuál es el tributo? Shiloh.
Shai, a gift. Law to him.
Un regalo y lo to
What
him.
did they give to what did they brought to Yeshua when he was born? They brought gifts.
¿Qué trajeron a Yeshua cuando nació?
Shiloh.
Regalos, Shiloh.
And the homage of the people be his.
Y el lugar
The homage, the people will come.
en sus personas, ellos vendrán a él.
What is the word for the people come to him?
¿Cuál es la palabra de las personas vienen a él?
Yikat. He's one of the names of the sons.
Es uno de los nombres de los
Sons
hijos.
of Levi.
Los hijos de Leví.
You see, the Geulah have different stages.
Sí, la Geulah, la redención tiene diferentes etapas.
So we need to understand Geulah in this context.
Necesitamos entender Geulah, redención en este
Now I
contexto.
want to explain something very deep to you.
Ahora quiero explicarles algo.
Everything I explained to you, by the way, find in Rivka Remnant.
Todo lo que les voy a explicar está en el libro
But this is
El
the
remanente de
introduction
Rebca.
to the introduction to the introduction.
Esto es una introducción a la introducción de la introducción del libro.
I don't want to read you the book.
No quiero leerte el libro
Well, you don't buy the book.
porque no me lo vas a comprar.
I'm a poor rabbi. You know.
Soy un rabino pobre.
Oh my goodness. Where am I going with prophecy? Why? I got so excited by this.
Me emocioné.
Why? I forgot my thought.
Va. El dominio en los hijos, Nebuá, los hijos de Leví. Vamos a. Menino de Leví.
Akol ze
Sons.
nevuah. Akol ze
Sí.
nevuah. Okay. The question here, I remember now what I want to do.
La pregunta es, ahora recuerdo,
What do we have to do?
¿qué necesitamos
Think about it. It's
hacer?
very important.
Esto es muy importante.
Yeshua is
piensa.
on the cross.
Yeshua está en la cruz
And he says it is finished.
y dijo, terminado es.
Excuse me.
Perdón.
Go back to Jeremiah 31.
Ve a Jeremías 31.
No, don't go. Figuratively speaking.
Oh, no, figurativamente no vayas.
He gave a promise to a Brit Chadashah.
Él da una promesa de un pacto
Behold, I
renovado.
give a Brit Chadashah.
Todos sabemos lo que es un pacto renovado.
First of all, it's not to the church.
En primer lugar, no es para la iglesia.
To the house of Yehuda and to the house of Israel.
Dice
I don't
Judá
read
y
in
la
my
casa de
Bible,
Israel.
church.
Yo no dice en mi Biblia no encuentro la palabra iglesia.
The Brit Chadasha is to the physical branch, and those, if you read it in
El
context,
pacto renovado es, si lo lee en contexto, es para Judá y la casa de Israel, ambos.
and I speak about this a lot here about this. This is very
Y
important.
hablo de esto mucho, esto es muy importante.
Look, Jeremiah 31
Jeremías 31
is read in the synagogue.
está leyéndole una sinagoga.
In Rosh Hashanah, second day, Rosh
El
Hashanah, we
segundo
read it.
día de Rosh Hashanah
It's the Haftarah section.
es la sección de la Haftarah.
But we don't get 31.
Pero no llegamos al
We
31,
go from
31.
31:1 all the way to 31:19.
Vamos de 31:1 al 30.
What is the
29.
context? What is the
Allí
context
está el contexto. ¿Cuál
of
es
the
el
Brit Hadashah?
ahí está el contexto del
This is
pacto
important.
renovado.
Of the entire thing that we call the Commonwealth House of Israel.
Esto es muy importante porque este es el pueblo de Israel.
Now, I don't believe in the Ephraimite error,
No creo
but you have
Perdón.
to understand.
en el error de Efraín, pero deben entender.
I want to explain something. I know I'm going somewhere,
Quiero explicar algo. Yo
we are
estoy
still introduction,
yendo a diferentes
but we need to
puntos,
set something straight.
pero necesitamos poner algo ahí en el punto.
If you read it in context of the pshat, of the literal of the text,
Si tú lo lees en el contexto literal del texto,
this group called Israel,
este cuerpo llamado Israel,
but it's also called Ephraim.
pero también se llama Efraín.
Is it some sort of tribes that's floating into space?
¿Son las tribus que están flotando en el espacio?
Nonsense.
No tiene sentido.
But let me tell you who is Ephraim.
Déjame decirte quién es Efraín.
ילד יולד לנו, בן ניתן לנו, ויקרא שמו, פלא יועץ על גיבור אבי אצל צלום. Isaiah 9:5-6.
Isaías 9:6.
הילד,
Sí.
היכו, מיכו,
El niño
niño, ילד, and ben,
e hijo
hijo, is not the same in Hebrew.
no es lo mismo en hebreo. Un niño y un hijo no es lo mismo en hebreo.
Niño is one who is in a very low state.
Un niño es alguien que es pequeñito.
The one who becomes son is in his fullness. Ben is in his
Y
fullness.
cuando es hijo ya está completo, es un hombre completo.
And the Ramchal explains something amazing.
Y Ranjal explica algo maravilloso.
But it will be his name, because a singular name.
Pero su nombre en forma singular
Meaning that the two
significa que los dos
have to converge to one.
tienen que convertirse en uno.
Ezekiel chapter 37 speak about a prophecy of the two sticks that's becoming one.
Ezequiel 37 habla de la profecía de los dos palos, estacas que se
And we have
juntan.
some teachers.
Y tenemos algunos
God
maestros,
help you. They are here in Miami.
ahí
God
están
help
aquí en
us.
Miami, que Dios los ayude.
That tell all the Gentiles that they are the physical.
Que les dice a
No.
todos los gentiles que ellos son Efraín físico.
Ephraim,
Efraín,
his name is Joseph.
su nombre es Joseph.
Those are those who take the Mashiach, son of Joseph.
Son esos que toman el
It's a
Mashiach, son
spiritual.
Joseph espiritualmente.
Yehuda is those who
Yehuda.
expect Mashiach ben David.
Yehudá va a recibir a Mashiach ben David.
What we are talking about here is the convergence
¿Qué estamos hablando aquí? Estamos hablando de la conversión
of the two Messiahs into one.
de dos Mesías en uno.
So if a Jew said to the world, Yeshua cannot be Mashiach.
Así, si se le dice al mundo, Yeshua no puede ser el Mesías.
So I say, oh yeah, really?
Él le dice, sí.
Where is the halacha on Mashiach ben Yosef?
¿Dónde está la halajá de Mashiach ben Yosef?
Maimonides never even addressed once Mashiach ben Yosef. Not even one time.
Maimónides no menciona ni una vez a Mashiach ben Yosef.
It is like he has ignored 1200 years of talking about Mashiach ben
Es
Yosef.
como que ignoró 1200 años de que se hablaba de Mashiach ben Yosef.
The context of Jeremiah 31:31
El contexto de Jeremías 31:31
is building what we call Israel, the Commonwealth.
es construyendo el pueblo de Israel, estableciendo el pueblo de
And when it's
Israel.
happened,
¿Y cuándo esto va a pasar?
only when Ben Yosef and Ben David, the
Solamente
Jews and the Gentiles
Solamente cuando Ben Yosef y Ben David, los judíos y gentiles,
are reconciled into one.
se reconcilian en uno.
Follow what I'm saying to you.
¿Siguen lo que estoy diciendo?
So now let me explain to you this in the context of Nevuah, of what Yeshua.
Ahora déjame explicarte en el contexto de
And
profecía.
I mean, this is very deep. So read this,
Esto es
what I just
muy
explained to you,
profundo. Lean esto, lo que yo les voy a explicar.
because it's one name, very, very
Porque
small.
es un nombre.
So the neshama
Así que el alma
of Ben Yosef and Ben David will converge
de
to one
Ben
neshama.
Yosef y Ben David se van a hacer en una sola
So
neshama.
I have no problem saying today Yeshua is Mashiach Ben Yosef,
Yo no tengo problema al decir que Yeshua es Ben Yosef.
and only upon reconciliation he will receive Ben David.
Y cuando haya esa reconciliación va a recibir el
We
Ben David.
just solve a major halachic problem.
Aquí tenemos un problema halágico grave.
Okay, they're
resuelto.
they're going to be one.
Va a haber uno, solo uno.
But let's get back for the topic for a moment.
Pero regresemos al tópico por un momento.
That's I gave for anybody who does not believe that Yeshua is.
Ese fue solo un regalo para estos que
There is no problem
creen que Yeshua es Ben
believing
Yosef.
that he is today is a Yeled.
Hoy es un niño,
He's not a Ben yet.
todavía no es el hijo.
Well, you say, well, he's my Messiah.
Pero tú dices, pero él es mi Mesías.
Irrelevant.
Eso es
Yeled
irrelevante.
Yulad Lanu. It's
Niño-
to Israel. It is to Israel.
Niño pertenece a Israel.
He's not a Ben yet to Israel.
No es todavía el hijo para
So how
Israel.
is the two will converge to one?
Ahora, ¿cuándo los dos se convierten en uno? Se
Okay, so
convergen
now we
en
are coming
uno.
back to Yeshua word.
Porque ahora voy a regresar a Yeshua.
He says it is finished on the
Él
cross.
dijo, es terminado.
Okay, now
Hecho
if you go to Jeremiah 31:34, don't go there.
Okay, ahora si vas a Jeremías 31:34,
He's telling you all those wonderful things that are happening with the Brit HaDashah. will
nos
get fulfilled.
está diciendo todas estas cosas lindas que va a pasar con el pacto renovado.
We'll receive a new heart.
Lo reciben en tu corazón.
We will be able. They will know me from the least of us
Dice,
to the great, for the
Lo
least.
conoceremos desde el más pequeño hasta el más grande.
And if you honestly, in truth,
Y si realmente tú es
read
honestamente
Jeremiah
en
31,
verdad,
31 all the way to 34,
lee Jeremías 31 hasta el 34
and you look in the world today,
y tú vas a ver el mundo hoy
you say,
y vas a decir,
this has not been fulfilled yet.
esto no se ha cumplido todavía.
I want to tell you a shocking thing.
Te voy a decir algo que te va-
Jeremiah tells the promise of the new covenant has not been fulfilled corporately yet. I know people will get offended, but it's the truth.
Te voy a decir algo que te va a volar el cerebro. La profecía de Jeremías no ha sido cumplida.
So why did Yeshua says it is finished?
¿Por qué Yeshua dijo está hecho?
Why did he say it is finished?
¿Por qué
This
lo
is
dijo?
the key.
Esta es la clave.
Geulah is like a
Geulah, redención,
It's
es como
like a
un
libro.
libro.
You have chapter 1, chapter
Tienes
2,
capítulo
chapter
1, 2, 3.
3. Okay? And Geulah already started at Bereshit 1:1.
Y la redención empezó en Génesis 1:1.
So we see with Noah.
Entonces miramos a Noah.
Tzaddik haya bedorotav. He
Que era un-
is a
no hab-
picture of a
Él
Mashiach
es un prototipo del Mashiach
that is rejected and despised.
que fue rechazado.
Noah.
Noah.
Noah in Gematria 58.
En Gematria 56.
Like the word imach shmo vezichro.
Como
He's
la palabra
rejected and
Imá.
despised. He's a picture
Fue
of Mashiach.
rechazado y despreciado. Es
Then we
una
have
foto del Mashiach.
then we have Avraham Avinu.
Ahora tenemos a Abraham Avinu.
And he continued the Geulah. It's another episode
Y
of Geulah.
continuó a la Geulah. Es otro episodio de la
And then
Geulah.
Moshe Rabbeinu
Y
brings
luego viene
the
Moshe
tablets.
con las dos tablas.
It's another stage of Geulah.
Es otro paso de la Geulah, de la redención.
And then we get to Yeshua.
Y tenemos a
When he
Yeshua.
says it is finished,
Cuando él dijo, terminado es,
he's talking about a chapter in the
está hablando de un
Geulah.
capítulo
that
dentro
is
de la Geulah,
finished.
que ha terminado ese
The
capítulo.
chapter is over.
El capítulo ha terminado.
The Talmidim see Yeshua
Los discípulos miraron a
in the book
Yeshua
of Acts,
en el libro de Hechos.
and the only question they ask, are you going to come and rapture the church, right?
Y todo lo que le preguntaron fue, ¿vas a venir a llevarte a la iglesia?
Where did we get this idiotic
¿De
idea
dónde sacamos esta idea de la
that we will be
raptura de la
raptured
iglesia?
to
Que
do
vamos
Hava
a ser
Nagila
levantados
with him in
y
heaven
que vamos a tener a Banagila en heaven.
when
en el
Israel
cielo,
getting barbecued below?
cuando Israel cuando Israel está haciendo como un asado acá abajo.
What a stupid idea.
Es
that
una idea estúpida.
is. Don't believe this.
No crean eso.
No, they ask, if you come to restore the kingdom to Israel?
Le preguntaron, ¿vienes a restaurar el reino a
In
Israel?
essence, they understood
En esencia, ellos
that they have
entendieron
one more step to complete in the
que
final and complete Geulah. The
que
Talmudim understood
sí,
it.
los discípulos entendieron que había otro capítulo más para la
We call it
Geulah.
the Geulah Shlema, the Geulah Klalit.
O
They
sea,
understood
toda
there's one
la-
more thing.
ellos entendieron que la Geulah, la redención completa faltaba.
And what it says is, it says in Tehillim 21,
y que dice en Salmos,
to put the tiara of gold
Dice
on the hand of
ponerse la
Israel.
tiara de Dios en la cabeza de Israel, sobre
That's
la
what is going
cabeza
to
de Israel.
happen.
¿Cuándo va a pasar?
Does it say in Yeshayahu, "V'kol amcha tzadikim," all your people are tzadikim?
¿No
Is
dice en
it there?
Isaías que todos ellos son justos?
So we looked at them.
Entonces,
They
miramos
basically
a
say,
ellos.
okay, we're ready for the final chapter.
Entonces podemos decir, ¿están listos para el capítulo final?
He looked at them and said, no,
Él les dijo,
the
no.
final chapter,
El último
it
capítulo
is your chapter.
es tu capítulo.
So I'm going to give you the tool to fulfill the last
Así que les
chapter.
voy a dar las herramientas para cumplir,
Behold, I am
terminar
giving
el
you the
último
Ruach
capítulo.
HaKodesh.
Yo les voy a dar el espíritu de
So that you
santidad
can write and author the last chapter.
para que puedas escribir y actuar en el
So-
último capítulo.
The job of the Holy Spirit
Así que el trabajo del Espíritu de Santidad
is not to make you speak in tongues,
no es hacerte hablar en lenguas,
not to see gold glitter from heaven.
no para recibir fuego del cielo.
Anyway, why would you want to speak another language if all what we're going to speak according to Zephaniah, when it comes is Hebrew, everybody will speak Hebrew.
Porque entonces no hace sentido que vas a hablar en otras lenguas. Y Sofonías dice que vamos a hablar la lengua santa.
It said, Tractate Shabbat, the Malachim understand only Hebrew.
También los ángeles entienden solo hebreo.
Practice Hebrew. You want to speak in tongues?
¿Qué?
Practice Hebrew.
¿Van a hablar en lenguas para hablar con los ángeles?
He said, I give you the Ruach HaKodesh,
Dice, les daré el espíritu de santidad.
and I will fill you with what's called Gevurah, with might,
Y
with power,
los voy a llenar de poder.
so
de
that you will
sabiduría.
hasten this day to the Hamtakat Adin, so that we will see the final and complete
Para
Gevurah.
que puedan acelerar el tiempo de la última redención.
We are asking today the question.
Te hacemos la pregunta
so,
hoy.
you understand, Geulah have sections.
Entiendan esto, que la Geulah, la redención, tiene secciones.
And the final section
Y la sección final
depend upon you.
depende de ti.
Specifically upon those who will hasten this last section, and they have a name.
Especialmente a estos que están acelerando la venida y tienen un nombre.
They call the remnant.
Se llama el remanente.
You want to know who is the remnant?
¿Quieres saber quién es el remanente?
The remnant are the one who will hasten
El remanente son aquellos que vamos a
the final
acelerar
chapter, the final
el
episode.
capítulo final, el último episodio de
And
la
if you're
redención.
not Jewish by birth,
Y si tú no eres judío por nacimiento,
and you got here to Shema Israel,
y tú en el Shema Israel,
it's important to take a step back.
es importante que pases un pasito hacia atrás
Say, God, number one, I'm not Jewish by blood.
y puedas decir, Dios, yo no soy judío por sangre.
Why did you call me here?
¿Por qué me llamaste aquí?
Why on earth am I here?
¿Qué estoy haciendo aquí?
God had brought you here for a purpose.
Él te ha llamado por un propósito.
You are not some sort of a reject, accident, spit over from the church. Not at all.
Tú no eres un accidente que fue rechazado en la iglesia. No, no, no.
You're not the leftover.
No eres lo último residuo que fuiste rechazado en la iglesia.
No,
No.
God is calling you for a purpose.
Dios te está llamando por un propósito.
Because this remnant have a job
Porque este remanente tiene un
to
trabajo
take the Yeled
de traer a ese niño
and raise him to the dargah of a Ben.
y llevarlo a la capacidad de hijo.
You see, it says on Moshe Rabbeinu.
Dice, Moisés dijo,
You know, they took him, the Egyptian, Pharaoh wife took him.
ellos lo atacaron los egipcios.
And it says clearly in Torah,
Y dijo, muy claro en la Torah,
she made him Ben,
lo hizo hijo.
but not regular Ben.
Pero no un hijo regular.
She made him Ben Mitzrayim,
Él lo hizo hijo de Egipto,
not Ben Israel.
no hijo de Israel.
So we have billions and billions of Christians that make him a Ben. They made him a Ben.
Así que tenemos a muchos cristianos que están haciendo un hijo,
And a Ben of the warring environment, not of Egypt, the Ben of Israel you have to keep calm.
lo que se tiene que traer es el hijo de Israel.
And look what happened.
Y miren lo que está pasando.
He was raised up in Egypt.
fue criado en Egipto,
He was loved in Egypt.
fue amado en Egipto,
He was the second to Pharaoh.
fue el segundo de Faraón,
He divorced himself from Egypt.
se divorció él de Egipto
And then he returned to Egypt.
y regresó a
The
Egipto,
same house
a la misma casa
that raised him up,
que lo crió
and he destroyed the same house.
y destruyó la misma casa.
And the Maharal of Prague says that's exactly what's going to happen
Y el
with
Maral de Praga,
Christianity.
dice que eso es exactamente lo que va a pasar con el
The
cristianismo.
Maharal of Prague says he belonged with Christianity for a limited time. He will divorce
Dice-
it and he will return back to
dice-
destroy it.
Dice que estará con el cristianismo por un tiempo limitado, se divorciará y regresará a destruir
That's why you
esa
better
misma
get
casa.
out today
Así es por eso que tú tienes que irte un poquito hacia
from the
atrás hoy,
system of Edom and Rome
por el sistema de Edom y Roma.
and prepare the casa de la Israel
Y-
for
y ora.
Yeshua return.
Y ora
Aleluya.
por el regreso de Yeshua a la casa de Israel.
So who is going to do it? Who is going to do this job?
¿Quién va a hacer este trabajo?
That is the topic of the hour in the Rivka remnant.
Este es el tópico del camino en el libro del el remanente de Rivka.
The question today, do you want to become part of this remnant?
La
Do you?
pregunta hoy es, ¿quieres ser parte de este remanente?
Before we say amen,
Más vale que digan amén,
let's understand the DNA
para que entiendan el ADN
of what does it take
de lo que toma
to become the remnant.
ser un remanente.
Okay, we're ready to start now the presentation. It's late.
Está bien, ahora estamos a punto de
An hour later, can we put the
hacer
PowerPoint?
la presentación.
Gracias, gracias.
Thank you.
The term, yeah, while they're bringing it,
Mientras lo
hasten the
trae,
Geulah, Mashiach coming.
acelerando la redención antes de que venga el Mashiach.
Gracias, gracias. The term Shacharit is the word remnant.
El término Shacharit significa remanente.
This term appears 68 times in the Tanakh alone.
Este término aparece 60 veces en el Tanakh.
And we're going to try to answer this question today. Are you this remnant? A guide for the last days. How do we become
Y
this
vamos a tratar de contestar esta pregunta. ¿Eres tú el remanente? ¿Qué vamos a hacer para
Can
ese
I do
viaje?
it myself or you need to do it from there?
¿Tienen algo ahí para pasar la
Okay, next.
Ok,
Are
el
you-
próximo. Ok, próximo.
Próximo. No, go back. Whoa, whoa.
Va para atrás, hacia atrás.
He's rapturing the slides. Here we go.
Vamos
This is
atrás.
important.
¿Ese es el que quiere? ¿This is
This
what you want?
term,
Ya.
yeah, perfect.
Ajá.
This term, Shacharit or remnant,
El término Shacharit o remanente
used in multiple ways inside the Tanakh.
se usan de maneras diferentes dentro del Tanakh.
Shacharit Yaakov, the
Shacharit Jacob, el
Shacharit
remanente de
Yosef.
Jacob. Shacharit Yosef, el remanente de
It's
Yosef.
also called Sheritam, the remnant of the people.
También el remanente del pueblo.
Also in the book of Isaiah, we see this term, Sherit Bet Israel.
En el Isaías vemos Shacharit Bet Israel, remanente de la casa de Israel.
Sherit Agoim.
Shacharit Agoim, Shacharit de las
And
gentiles.
Sherit Yehuda.
Y el Shacharit de Yehuda, el remanente de Yehuda.
All of those names
Todos estos nombres
represent the people set that are going to be part of this remnant.
representan ese grupo de personas que van a ser parte de este remanente.
It is not an exclusive club that is based upon DNA.
No es un club exclusivo que se basa en ADN.
Do you think that if you run and convert to Judaism,
¿Tú crees que si tú corres a convertirte al
by
judaísmo,
some sort of definition you become part of this remnant?
por definición sos parte del remanente?
Excuse me, read the Tanakh.
No, disculpe, lee el
Only
Tanakh.
remnant of the arm of the people will be spared.
Solamente el remanente del pueblo va a ser
So
salvado.
what do you do with our liturgy when it says V'kolam chatzadikim? What do you do?
¿Qué-
All your people are righteous.
¿Qué haces entonces con la liturgia que dice todas las personas son
That's
justas?
refer to the remnant
Eso se refiere al remanente
among our people.
dentro de nuestro
What do you
pueblo.
think? Everybody who is Jewish is part of the Shacharit?
¿Tú crees que
Believe me.
todos los que son judíos son parte del remanente?
I know some very, very, very bad Jews.
Yo conozco muy malos judíos.
It is not a question of lineage.
No es cuestión de linaje,
It's a picture of a DNA.
es una imagen de ADN.
I'll tell you a real story.
Te voy a contar una historia real.
This happened in Israel just recently.
Esto pasó recientemente en Israel.
There was a girl.
Había una muchacha
who she's half Polish
que tiene la mitad de polaca,
and half Yemenite.
y también yemenita.
Think about that kind of mix. Half Polish, half
Piensa
Yemenite.
en esa mezcla,
It's explosion.
Polonia y Yemen.
Kaboom. Right? And this sweet girl was about to get married in Israel.
Y esta dulce muchacha se estaba a punto de casarse en Israel.
A month before she get married,
Un mes antes de casarse,
she got a bone marrow cancer.
ella tuvo un cáncer de bono, de
She say
médula.
if she does not get the bone marrow,
Dice, y si no tiene esa médula,
you know, a new bone marrow,
sabe, una nueva médula,
she's going to be dying
va a morir
in a matter of days.
en días.
Okay? They put it all in the newspaper.
Ellos
All
lo
of
pusieron en todos los
anybody who
periódicos
have
en Israel.
Yemenite
Todos aquellos que tienen sangre
and have Polish come,
yemenita o
and they do a
polaca,
blood exam to see maybe they can become a donor for
porque
this woman.
quizás si ellos tienen la misma sangre, puede ser un donante para esta muchacha.
They found 50%.
Encontraron 50 personas.
They said no, it's impossible.
O sea,
70%.
70% es
They said that
imposible.
if they try to put into her the same bone marrow,
Dice que si se lo tratan de poner ahí en la médula
it will
espinal,
kill her.
la va a matar.
It's have to be a 95%
Tiene
or
que
above.
ser 95% o arriba.
A week before she's dying.
Una semana antes de que ella está a punto de morir.
They found a perfect match for her.
Encontraron la perfecta forma.
You know who it was?
¿Saben quién fue?
It was her own brother.
Su propio hermano.
He's a friend of my family. That's why I know.
Oh, es parte de mi familia, por eso es que lo sé.
They put the new bone marrow.
Pusieron nueva médula,
She got married.
se casó.
And I'm glad to say she's alive today. Baruch
Y
Hashem.
estoy contento de decir que está viva hoy.
When Mashiach coming,
Con la venida del Mashiach,
and allow me to quote from El Regreso Morano
y
Kosher for a moment.
permítame citar del libro del Marrando de Regreso,
It
Kosher, por
says
un
in
momento.
Yeshayahu 11.
Dice en Isaías 11,
What does he do when he coming?
¿qué va a pasar cuando venga?
He says ve'aricho. Ve'aricho. What is aricho?
Aijo. ¿Qué es
Ve'aricho.
aijo?
It's come from the Hebrew word reach.
Viene de la palabra hebrea rea. Oler. Oler.
He judge each and every
Él va-
one of us
Él va a juzgarnos a
by
todos
the smell.
por el olfato.
And all the believers think they immediately go to heaven to do Havanagila.
Y todos aquellos que fueron al cielo, que cantan Hana Nagira,
Excuse me, the book of Romans says that even the believers are
el
being judged.
libro de
Even
Romanos
the
dice que aún
believers
los
are going to be
creyentes
judged.
vamos a ser juzgados.
Why do you think in 2 Corinthians Paul is speaking
¿Qué
about
dice Pablo en 2 de
2
Corintios?
Corinthians, Paul talk about those who have the aroma of life unto life
Habla
and those who have the
acerca
aroma of death unto
De
death.
esos que tienen el aroma de vida y en los otros que tienen el aroma de muerte.
He is going to sniff each and every one of
Él
us.
va a olernos a cada uno de nosotros.
And if we don't smell and have the DNA of
Y si
Mashiach,
no olemos con el ADN del Mashiach,
we perish.
pereceremos.
That's why it says in Malachi chapter 3
Por eso dice en Malaquías capítulo
that
3
everything going to be melting from the heat.
que todo va a ser derretido por el
But it's
fuego.
also said that Shemesh Tzedakah coming. The
Pero
Son
dice-
of Righteousness is coming with
Pero
healing in his
dice
wind
que el Hijo de Justicia viene con sanidad en sus
to
alas
heal.
para sanar.
Is going to heal those who have the DNA of Mashiach.
Va a sanar esos que tienen el ADN del Mashiach
And it's going to be burning
y va a quemar
those who don't have the DNA
esos
of
que no
Mashiach.
tienen el ADN del Mashiach.
So the question of Shacharit
Así que la pregunta de Sherit
is the
remanente
question of authentication
es una cuestión de autenticidad,
of identity.
de identidad.
Do we look?
Lucimos,
Do we smell?
olemos.
When we look at the mirror,
Cuando nos miramos en el
do
espejo,
we see Yeshua
miramos a Yeshua
or we see something else?
o miramos algo más.
It's a terrible, terrifying thought.
Es un pensamiento terrificante.
So if I want to become Shacharit, if I want to become part of this remnant,
Si yo quiero ser un sherit, un remanente, parte de este remanente,
the question become, how do I become
la
this remnant?
pregunta es, ¿cómo yo me convierto en ese remanente?
there is this important klal, this important rule on understanding the Bible in general.
Hay una regla muy importante para entender lo que la Biblia
and
dice.
whether you agree with that or not, it's irrelevant.
Y sea que tú estés de acuerdo conmigo, no es irrelevante.
They say to understand a term, to understand an expression,
Dice que para entender un término, para entender una expresión,
you need to see the very first time
tú tienes que ver la primera vez
that this term used in the scriptures.
que aparece en la escritura.
Okay? So let's ask the question for a moment.
Vamos a hacernos una pregunta.
Where is the very first place
¿Dónde es el primer lugar
that we see this term remnant?
que miramos este término remanente?
In the context of what situation?
¿En el contexto de qué situación?
Anybody want to guess?
¿Alguien quiere adivinar?
Lo? Lo? Anybody want to guess
¿Alguien
the very
quiere?
first time we see Shacharit? Bereshit. Well,
Bereshit.
Bereshit is a big book. Bereshit. Chacham balayla.
Shacharit.
No. The very first time, next slide, hermano.
La primera, la próxima, la
we see
primera
this term,
vez que
Shacharit,
miramos este término,
uplita, mentioning,
Shacharit mencionado
it's
en
in
la
the
Torah,
context of Yosef.
es en el contexto de Joseph.
Joseph is saying, I'm going to make you Shacharit and plita.
Joseph dijo, voy a hacerte el remanente.
The key
Shacharit,
today, when we know who
plita,
Yeshua is,
sobrenatural.
you know who Joseph represents?
¿Tú sabes a quién representa Joseph?
Yeshua.
Yeshua.
The entire concept that we can become Shacharit and plita related to our ability to identify and cleave ourselves to Joseph.
Todo el concepto de entender este concepto es entender quién es Joseph.
Now he uses this term Joseph. Look how
Y
Joseph
Joseph
described this.
usa este término y miren cómo lo describe.
He used the word Shacharit.
Usa la
remnant,
palabra Shacharit,
and this word
remanente.
plita is really important.
En la palabra plita es muy
Plita is
importante.
a term that represents
Es un-
something that is not
Es un
natural.
término que representa algo que no es natural.
Something that is above nature.
Algo que es más allá de lo natural.
Ani rochev al chamor, lowly riding upon a donkey.
Dice Ani, se subió, él era el
You
que
forgot
subió.
already. In 2015 you translated me about this. You forgot.
Él fue el que se subió en el
Chamor,
asno.
the
El
homer, the
asno.
flesh, the
En el
supernatural.
asno, que significa lo sobrenatural.
Joseph is telling them that I'm going to provide you Shacharit to plita here. This is important.
Joseph está diciendo, yo soy el que subí al asno.
Let's understand this word plita.
Vamos a entender esta palabra plita.
Let's go for a moment for the highest authority in the Hebrew language.
Vamos para la alta autoridad de la lengua hebrea. El próximo.
The Evan Shoshan Dictionary.
El
Evan Shoshan Dictionary.
el diccionario, que es lo más alto en la lengua hebrea.
There is a noun and there is a verb.
Hay un nombre y hay un verbo.
Let's first deal with the action of plita.
Primero vamos a lidiar con la acción de
Listen
plita.
what it says. The action of plita
Listen
verb
lo que dice.
is the extraction of something that is
La
inside
acción
of you.
de plita es la extracción de un cuerpo,
But what's continued with is a complete
pero
removal
sigue
at once
diciendo
by great
completamente
strength.
renovado por medio de una fuerza.
It's something that is leaving you
Es algo que te está dejando,
through some sort of a supernatural force.
es como una fuerza sobrenatural que te
Let
está
me
dejando.
put it to you in biblical terms.
Déjame ponértelo en términos bíblicos.
What is this supernatural thing that is leaving you?
¿Qué es lo sobrenatural que te está dejando?
It's called in Hebrew klipa.
Se llama klipa.
Klipa is a shell or
Klipa es una cáscara.
every one of us have a cascara. That's a good
Sí.
word. Yeah.
Cada uno de nosotros tenemos una cáscara.
A klipa is the things that you have, the yetzer hara, the
La
things
clipa
that
es
you
lo
are
que
fighting.
tenemos la inclinación al mal.
And each and every one of us have a different type of
Y
klipot.
cada uno de nosotros tenemos diferentes clases de clipot, de cáscaras.
So who is the one who becomes she'erit?
Así, ¿quién es aquel que se convierte en un she'erit, en
One
un
that
remanente?
recognizes what is his klipot
Uno que reconoce cuál es esa masa,
and
esa
able to
cáscara.
overcome his own klipot.
Y entonces desafía su propia
You want to
cáscara.
come she'erit?
¿Tú quieres ser un
The
remanente?
very first thing you need to do is become honest with yourself.
La primera cosa que es ser santo con ti mismo.
And don't look at your brother and say, well, that's his klipot. His klipot is going to be very different than your
No
klipot.
mires la clipa de tu hermano, la cáscara de tu hermano, sino la tuya.
And what you have to do,
Y lo que tienes que hacer,
look at what it says, ejection, emission,
dice,
discharge,
sacar,
reputation, out of the vultures.
emisión, secreción, regulación, salida,
It's something
divulgación,
that
todo
have
eso.
to leave
Es algo
you.
que tiene que dejarte,
But it have to leave you in a supernatural way
pero tiene que dejarte en una manera sobrenatural.
to become she'erit.
Para convertirte en un
It's not
she'erit,
something that you think about.
no es algo que tú piensas.
There is an element of supernaturality into becoming a she'erit.
Es algo sobrenatural para que tú te vayas convirtiendo en ese remanente.
For example, in the Rivka remnant,
Por ejemplo, en el remanente de Rivka,
I am talking about Rivka.
estoy hablando sobre Rebeca.
And that's, guys, you got to read the book because this is about our own klipot.
Y tienen que leer ese libro porque habla de nuestra propia
Notice something
cáscara.
about Rivka.
Noten algo sobre Rebeca.
Eliezer showed up
Eliezer se presentó
and he said, wow.
y dice, wow,
He's looking, looking to feed, to water the camels.
mirando a quien le da agua a los camellos.
What does the Hebrew says?
¿Qué dice el hebreo?
While Eliezer speaking,
Mientras Eliezer hablaba,
she's coming out
ella viene
and she speak over him.
y habla sobre él.
And the Hebrew word here in the text is the word yotzet.
Y la palabra en hebreo en este texto es la palabra yotzet.
She coming out.
Es que ella sale.
But notice what the Torah says.
Pero note lo que la Torah
The Torah
dice.
does not tell us where she's coming out from.
La Torah no nos dice de qué sale.
And the rabbis of Israel asked the question, why is the Torah doesn't tell us where she's coming
Y
out?
podemos hacer nuestra pregunta, ¿y por qué la Torah no nos dice de lo que
Because
está
she's
saliendo?
not coming out from a physical place.
Porque ella no está saliendo de un lugar
The
físico.
Ramban says
Rambán dice,
she's coming out of a spiritual place.
ella está saliendo de un lugar espiritual.
And you know where she's coming out?
¿Y
She's
saben de
coming
dónde
out
viene?
from the house of Laban, the Aramei.
Y ella está saliendo de la casa de Labán, el arameo.
Aramei.
Arameo.
The word Aramei, flip the
Aramí.
letter.
Si tú la palabra aramí le das vuelta a las letras,
Ramai.
tienes la palabra ramai.
She's coming out from the house of Satan.
Dice, está saliendo de la
You want to
casa de
talk about
Satán.
coming out of a klipot?
¿Saben de dónde viene esa cáscara, esa clipot?
She's coming out. This is a model for you.
Este
That's
es
why I
un
tell you,
modelo
you
para
want to
ti.
become a remnant, read this book because
Es
it's a
por eso
principle.
que yo te recomiendo que leas que leas este libro porque ese es un principio.
Also, her name,
Principado.
Rivka.
También su nombre es Rivka.
The Ramchal explained to us
Ranjal nos explica
that the name Rivka,
que el nombre Rivka,
if you flip the letter,
si tú le das vuelta a las
you
letras,
get the word hakever,
tú tienes la palabra hakever,
from your own grave.
de tu propia tumba.
She's experienced a supernatural
Ella está experimentando una resurrección
Hakever.
espiritual.
Today God is telling you, you
Eso
need
ya
to
dice.
rise out in a supernatural way. Arise.
Lo que nos estamos diciendo es que tenemos que resucitar, tenemos que levantarnos.
What Yeshua said to the man, the paralyzed man in Matthew
¿Qué le
chapter
dijo
9?
Yeshua al paralítico en Mateo 19?
Kum hitalech.
Dice, levanta y
What
camina.
is kum? Kuma.
Kum, levanta.
Resurrect. Arise.
Levántate.
There is an element to
Resucita.
supernaturality
Hay-
that you have to rise
Hay
up.
un
We have to rise
principio
up.
sobrenatural que tú tienes que levantarte.
And look what it says here.
Y lo que dice aquí.
And Evan Shoshan continue on the word remnant.
Continuamos con la palabra remanente
And look how we define it.
y mira cómo lo define.
A person who overcome tragedy or overcome death.
Una persona que sobrepasa una tragedia en lo mismo.
Part of becoming Shacharit,
Parte del remanente que viene.
it's overcoming things that are potentially can take you down.
Él está sobrepasando cosas que son potenciales para ponerte
We
abajo.
call it in Hebrew nisayon,
La llamamos en hebreo nisayon.
right? There's trials for remnant.
Problemas.
But this is important. If there's a supernatural and there's trials,
Hay lo sobrenatural y hay la confianza.
what is in between?
¿Qué está en medio de eso?
Think about the word nisayon.
Piensa sobre la palabra
You
nisayon.
hear the word nisan.
¿Tú escuchas la palabra nisan?
You hear the word nes,
¿Escuchas la palabra nes?
miracle.
Milagros.
Part of the remnant journey,
Parte de ese viaje del
and I'm
remanente.
challenging you today.
Y te desafío
Because
hoy.
if you walking your walk and
Que
living
si,
your
que
life,
si tú estás caminando y dejando tu vida,
and you don't see the nisim, you
Y no
don't
ves
see
los-
the
y no ves los-
visible and the invisible
si no
hand of
miras los
God.
milagros, lo físico, lo visible y lo invisible de Dios,
If you don't see, I'm going to use like a very simple term. If you don't see God's hand
Si tú no
upon
miras
your life,
la mano
you
de
are showing.
Dios sobre tu vida,
Watch out.
mira,
That
piensa,
means that you are not Shacharit.
porque posiblemente no seas un remanente.
One of the things I talk about in the book,
Otra de las cosas que hablo en el libro,
Eliezer, go and bring Rivka.
Eliezer va y trae a Rebeca.
Excuse me, how long did it take him to go get her?
¿Cuánto le tomó para ir a traerla?
Read the Holy Tongue carefully. Read the Holy Tongue carefully.
Lea la lengua sagrada muy
He
cuidadosamente.
did the journey in one day.
Él llegó en un día.
A journey of a week in one day.
Un viaje de una semana en un día.
When he bring Rivka back to Yitzchak,
Cuando trajo a Rebeca hacia
1
Isaac,
week become 1 day.
una semana se convirtió en un día.
And the Ramchal call it the Kfitzat HaDerech,
Y el Ranjal lo llama
spiritual leaping.
el salto espiritual.
Today is the day that part of becoming a remnant, you have to
Hoy es
spiritually
el
leap.
día que si quieres ser parte del remanente, tú tienes que espiritualmente dar un
As a
salto.
community, as messianic
Como
community, we
comunidad
have to
mesiánica,
spiritually leap.
tú tienes que dar el salto espiritual.
Everybody need to understand when we see this expression here that is used,
Debemos-
Shacharit und Plita,
Debemos entender que cuando vemos estos términos, Shacharit,
it
Beplita,
is a supernatural remanente.
es un remanente sobrenatural.
We need to pray for the supernatural in our lives.
Necesitamos buscar lo sobrenatural en nuestras
We
vidas.
need to walk in signs and wonders and
Necesitamos
miracles.
caminar en señales, prodigios y milagros.
It doesn't mean that we don't do the avodah,
No significa que no vamos a hacer la boda, el trabajo,
but if we just do the avodah, and we don't see those spiritual leaping,
pero
it
si
means
solo
that something
hacemos
is off.
abodá y no vemos ese salto espiritual, estamos incompletos.
When we finish today, we're going to pray for all of those things.
Cuando terminemos hoy, vamos a orar por todas estas cosas.
Is it 11:44 or 10:44?
¿Qué hora es?
Is it
11.
10?
¿Qué hora es?
Oh Lord, I'm looking here. I say we're doing good. It's only 10:40.
Dice, estoy mirando en mi computadora y son las 10 y
Okay, can I go
44.
until noon? Can I go another 10 minutes?
Podemos ir otro
And
tiempo
then I
más
will give you a break.
hasta la mediodía y les voy a dar un espacio, un tiempo de receso. Amén.
We're
Dice
going to
ella.
believe today
Vamos a creer hoy
that God is going to release this supernatural gift of the remnant.
que Dios va a desatar este regalo sobrenatural.
Now
del
here
remanente.
is the news.
Ahora, aquí está la noticia.
What is the relationship?
La próxima.
it's okay.
¿Cuál es la relación?
What is the relationship
¿Cuál es la relación
between the Torah?
entre la
This is
Torah?
very important.
Esto
Pay
es muy
attention.
importante. Pon
Between
atención.
the Torah
Entre la Torah
to the supernatural.
y el realmo sobrenatural.
This is very, very important.
Esto
What
es
I'm about to
muy
tell you.
importante.
By the way, we're in the book Bamidbar right now.
Estamos escribiendo el libro Bamidbar. Vamos a entrar en el libro
When Israel,
Bamidbar.
quote unquote, start to practice
Vamos a
Torah.
estar citando
They're
y
starting to
citando.
practice Torah.
Vamos a
Bamidbar.
empezar a practicar Torah en
As they
Bamidbar.
practice Torah,
Como practicamos Torah,
do you notice there are more miracles in the book of Bamidbar
tú sabes
than
que hay más
any other
milagros en el
book?
libro de Bamidbar,
in the
Éxodo
Torah.
2, que en toda la Torah.
If one practicing Torah properly,
si practicamos la Torah correctamente,
they are going to see the visible and the
vamos a ver
invisible
lo
hand of
visible y lo
God.
invisible de Dios.
Torah doesn't mean that you don't see the power of God. On the contrary.
La Torah no significa que no miras el poder de Dios, al contrario.
But the question becomes,
Pero la pregunta es,
now I'm going to argue against myself.
y eso voy también a discutir contra mí mismo,
Especially for anybody who thinking foolishly
especialmente por cualquier persona que piense tontamente
about converting.
sobre convertirse.
And I don't understand this plaga amongst Faradim.
Vamos a erradicar esta plaga dentro de los
God
sefarditas.
help you.
Que Dios nos ayude.
If you think the conversion of the flesh
Que si tú crees que la conversión de la carne
will bring you back to the house of Israel.
te va a llevar a la casa de Israel.
Not because I say no.
No porque yo digo que no.
Who am I?
¿Quién soy yo?
The book of Ezra and Nehemiah.
El libro de Esdras y
Chaverim,
Nehemías,
hermanos, they are
mis amigos,
returning back from exile.
en Esdras y en Nehemías están regresando del exilio.
I am going to use the term loosely. They're assimilated Jews at the best.
Voy a usar este término. Están asimilados los judíos asimilados.
They're knowing nothing about Judaism.
No hay nada sobre judaísmo cuando ellos
As a matter
regresan.
of fact, when they opened the Torah,
De hecho, cuando abrieron la Torah,
to read from the Torah, the people
para
cried.
leer de la Torah, la gente empezó a llorar.
And not from joy, not from happiness.
Y tenía gozo.
Because what is that? I don't understand anything.
¿Qué es eso? No entiendo nada.
So Ezra does the most Jewish thing.
Eso es lo más judío
It
posible.
actually says, give them food. That's a Jewish thing.
De hecho, dice, dale comida. Eso es algo judío también.
Give them, actually, the Hebrew says, give them fried food.
En hebreo dice, dales comida frita.
That's a Jewish answer. If they don't,
Eso es una
just feed
respuesta
them, they're
judía.
going to be okay.
Solo alimentalos con frituras y van a estar bien, cubanas.
They have no clue.
Ellos no tenían idea.
They are returned to the land according to the flesh.
Ellos regresaban a la tierra de acuerdo a la carne.
But what the book of Ezra and Nehemiah come to us
Pero cuando
is
el libro
how
de-
do we returning according to the Spirit?
Pero cuando en el libro de Esdras, Nehemías dice, ¿cómo hacemos que regresen en el espíritu?
Because a lot of you are in a process of return.
Porque muchos de ustedes están en un proceso de regreso.
And
regresar.
especially of those many who are among the Sfaradim,
Y especialmente esos hombres que están dentro de los de
which we can
sefarditas.
trace probably 500 years ago. You have a very strong possibility. Maybe
Porque
you have
si
some Jewish
si nos
lineage.
vamos unos 500 años o más atrás, te aseguro que vas a tener linaje judío.
But what does it mean
Pero ¿qué significa?
if you don't have the spiritual return?
Si tú no tienes la parte espiritual.
Every
de
Monday,
regreso.
Wednesday, Friday, somebody call me.
Todos
I'm
quieren
Bnei
ser
Anusim, I'm
Efraín.
Bnei Anusim, I'm Bnei Anusim.
Sí, yo soy Anusim, Bené Anusim, hijo de los forzados.
But you live your life in a way that is foreign to the house of
Pero
God.
tú vives en una vida que es una vida completa ajena al judaísmo.
How do one become returning to become this remnant?
¿Cómo entonces puedo regresar para ser Israel? Parte de
And
Israel?
here we see this term, Shacharit and Plita. We see
Y
it
aquí
in the
seguimos
text.
viendo este término Shacharit.
Listen to book of Ezra. It says, shall we once again violate your mitzvot by intermarrying with those people who follow such a practices? Will you not rage against us until destroyed without Shacharit
El
ve'Plita?
libro de Esdras dice 9, 14, 15. ¿Volveremos a violar tus mandamientos emparentándonos con pueblos que cometen tales abominaciones? ¿No te indignarás contra nosotros hasta consumirnos? ¿Lo que quedará?
Adonai Eloi Yitzchak, Tzadik ata ki nishanu Plita ki hayom. They say, we survive as a supernatural remnant.
Oh Señor, Dios de Israel, tú eres justo porque nos ha quedado un remanente pleitá hasta este día. He
But
aquí
this is
estamos
the
ante
key.
ti.
This is the key. The
Esta
last
es
sentence is the key.
la última
So
frase.
they have returned, but they say,
Ellos están regresando, pero dicen,
Hinenu lefanecha be'ashmotenu. We stand before you guilty.
estamos delante de ti con culpa.
And we cannot face you on this account. This is
Y no
key.
te podemos dar la cara en este momento.
They say
A
we
causa de esto.
cannot stand before
Dicen,
you.
no podemos pararnos delante de ti.
as remanente.
como remanente.
They already returned to the Torah,
Ellos regresan a la Torah,
but they are still not remanente.
pero todavía no son
This
remanentes.
is important. Go to the next
Esto
slide.
es muy importante. La otra, por favor.
Because those words in the end of Ezra,
Porque esas palabras al final de Esdras son muy importantes.
he says this. He says in
Dice.
Hebrew, Ki'en, let's translate it word for you. Ki'en, we la'amod lefanecha. There is nothing.
No hay nada.
La'amod lefanecha also. There is nothing that justify us standing before you.
No hay nada que nos justifique pararnos delante de ti como remanente.
Say it again.
Dilo otra vez.
Ki'en,
Kiem
la'amod lefanecha.
leamod nefaneja
Al zot.
al-esod.
They mean, oh, we come back to Torah.
Significa que aunque venimos a la Torah,
We not intermarry them.
nos hemos casado.
We don't eat shrimp anymore.
¿Sí? Ya no comemos camarones.
No more camarones.
No more camarones.
Yet,
Pero
this is not good enough.
esto no es suficiente.
But that's important to understand. So some people right now converting and going to
importante.
halachic life of Torah, and they think that is going to make them the remnant.
Pero esto está pasando, que la gente corre a convertirse, corre a la halajá y piensan que es el remanente de Dios.
What foolishness!
¡Qué tontería!
Do you think that entering into a covenantal relationship, a Mosaic covenant, will make one a remnant?
¿Tú crees que entrando al pacto de Moisés tú te vas a convertir en un remanente?
The Torah is the outer gate.
La Torah es la puerta.
There is an inner gate
Hay una puerta
that make
interior
one Shacharit.
que hace a uno remanente.
We need to get into the inner gate
Necesitamos entrar a esa puerta interior
so that we truly know how do we get into be the
para
remnant.
saber cómo ser realmente un remanente.
And this is about the people say, not God. The people already recognize
Y esto
we are
es-
not the remnant.
Y esto es lo que las personas dijeron, no Dios. Ellos reconocieron que no
So
eran
many of
remanente.
you today
Así que
going
muchos de
through
ustedes hoy
this the Shuva, the returning. You go to
que
the Shuva, you go
están
to the return,
retornando
and you think it's good enough.
y piensan que es
Oh,
suficiente.
I'm becoming Torah observant.
No, yo soy un observante de la Torah.
That's a bunch of mumbo jumbo foolishness.
Eso es un montón de cosas tontas.
Look what Metzudat David, not me, what the rabbis of
Mira lo que dicen los rabinos de Israel, no yo.
Ki ein la'amod. Next slide, hermano.
La próxima,
Ken ein la'amod. Look at the next slide.
la próxima, por favor.
The words we stand before you.
La otra. Anterior.
Perfect.
Esa, ya.
The word we stand before you with guilt
La palabra, nos presentamos delante de ti con
suggests, and I want you
culpa.
to underline this word,
Por favor,
that there
underline
is
esta
no
puerta.
merit.
No-
There is no merit
no hay mérito
in us
en
to
nosotros
stand before you as
para-
I for the
por
transgression.
pararnos delante de Él por la
There
causa de nuestras
isn't enough
transgresiones.
merit.
No hay méritos
I
suficientes.
want to tell you the news.
Te quiero decirle una noticia.
Do I keep Shabbat? I keep Shabbat.
Yo guardo Shabbat.
Do I eat kosher?
¿Y como kosher?
Where is Pita Plus?
¿Dónde está Pira Plus?
Better take me to Pita Plus.
Es mejor que me
Better take
tomes
me
a
to
Pira
Pita
Plus.
I love kosher.
A mucho kosher.
Do I love mitzvot? I love mitzvot.
Amo los mandamientos.
Even if I do all 613 mitzvot, which I cannot do because I'm not in the land of
Aún si hago los 613 mandamientos, que no puedo porque no estoy en la tierra y no hay templo.
And even if I daven 3 days in Yerushalayim, cry out.
Y aún si estoy muero en Jerusalén
And I
3
don't say,
días
don't do it. Do
y,
it.
y le digo, no lo hagas.
There is still something
Hágalo.
you have to realize.
Hay algo siempre que tú te
There
tienes que dar
is
cuenta,
not enough
que
zechut,
no hay suficiente
not enough
mérito.
zechut
No hay suficiente mérito para pararse delante del Eterno.
to become this remanente.
Como un
It's a
remanente.
remanente.
No hay suficiente mérito para ser un remanente.
We are still guilty.
Todavía
And
tenemos
the guilt is in
culpa
our hands.
y la culpa está en nuestras
The
manos.
surviving remnant carry his righteousness.
El remanente sobreviviente
The
vino a Israel.
surviving remnant
El remanente
carry
tiene que traer
His righteousness.
su justicia.
Whose
¿Cuál
righteousness?
justicia?
Who is one who called Adonai Tzidkenu?
¿A quién se le conoce como Adonai Tzidkenu?
Well, let's see.
Bueno, vamos a ver.
Don't jump.
No saltes.
מה אתה קופץ? מה? רגע, לאט לאט.
Vamos, paso a paso.
Let's go to Rashi for a moment.
Vamos a ver lo que dice Rashi por un
Listen to
momento.
Rashi on the same verse.
Vamos a ver lo que dice Rashi en el mismo verso.
I love what Rashi says here.
Amo lo que
Next verse.
Rashi dice la próxima. Lo que
He says,
Rashi dice.
próxima. We don't have the power.
No-
This is I love.
Dice, no tenemos el poder
Of the mitzvot
de las buenas obras, de
to
los
stand
mandamientos,
and exist before you.
para presentarnos y existir
Because
delante de
of our
ti a
transgression.
causa de nuestras transgresiones.
Our mitzvot are like filthy rags
Nuestros-
because He is so kadosh, He is so holy.
Nuestros mandamientos son como cualquier trapo de inmundicia porque Él es santo, santo.
Are you with me?
Están conmigo.
This is very important.
Esto es
Here
muy
is
importante.
what He has established so far.
Esto es lo que hemos establecido
And in
hasta
the
el
book you are
momento.
going to see this next
Y
proximate.
en el libro ustedes van a ver esto,
You're going to see those
lo
focus
próximo,
points. Focus point. Next one.
el punto de
This is
enfoque.
what we established so far.
Esto es lo que hemos establecido hasta ahora.
The remnant.
El
Number
remanente.
one.
Número uno.
The remnant is not an individual. The remnant is a corporation.
El remanente no es un individuo, el remanente es una comunidad.
When we talk about remnant, we don't talk, yeah, I'm saved. Okay, I'm great, I'm saved.
Cuando hablamos acerca de remanente, no decimos, estoy salvo.
But
Sí,
even Rav
somos
Shaul,
salvos.
even Rav Shaul
Pero un Rav Shaul
Spoke about all of Israel
habla acerca de todo
being
Israel,
saved.
ser salvo.
So if he is already saved, why is talking about all of
Y
Israel?
si
being saved?
Rav Shaul es salvo en ese momento, porque habla de todo Israel.
Nobody is fully redeemed
Nadie es totalmente salvo,
unless the corporate,
redimido,
is.
a menos que sea hecho corporativamente,
So
como
the
comunidad.
remnant represent a corporation, not an individual.
Así que el remanente representa una comunidad, no un individuo.
So here is the question we're going to get to after the break.
Así que esta es la pregunta que vamos a hacer y la vamos a tratar después del receso.
Where, if the merit is not in Torah, is not in mitzvah,
¿Por qué el mérito no está en la Torá, no está en hacer mandamientos?
so where do we get the power
¿De dónde obtenemos el poder
to become the plita?
para hacer el remanente?
We have to look at that.
Necesitamos ver eso.
And thankfully, Ezra
Y gracias a Esdras
giving us the answer for
nos
that.
da,
Proxima.
oh no próxima.
Chance to people. Are everybody tracking with me right now?
Alguien,
Okay, very good, very good. So I'm going to, for those who are watching us online also,
para esos que nos miran virtualmente,
not Latin 10 minutes.
no 10 minutos latinos,
We'll be here all day. Yeah?
va a ser todo el día.
And then I won't get to eat in Pita Plus.
Entonces voy a ir a comer Pita Plus con Alex.
And the Geulah will be delayed.
Y la Geula se retrasará.
Yeah. No, but I want you, is this, everybody, before we break,
Antes del receso,
are there any questions
¿hay algunas preguntas
on the first part?
en esta primera parte?
Is it clear? Is it clear?
¿Está claro para ustedes?
You don't need this, right?
¿No necesitan los lentes?
Stop the foolishness.
Paren con las tonterías.
And help others to stop the foolishness amongst the Sephardim.
Y quiero que los sefardíes paren de estas tonterías.
Mischakei Yeladim has to stop. The children,
Por
the
favor,
video games.
paremos estos juegos de niño dentro de los sefarditas.
So I'll be outside. Those who want to get the books,
Voy a estar afuera para esos que quieran el libro.
I will say this. If I were you
Les voy a decir esto. Si yo fuera tú
and you have not read any of them,
y tú no has leído ninguno de ellos,
I would read this first.
yo voy a leer este primero, remanente de
I
Rebeca.
would actually read this second.
Voy a leer este segundo, la Besorah de acuerdo a COVID-19.
Read this, and I would read this last.
Y voy a leer este de último.
I actually wrote them in the reverse order.
Yo los escribí en la forma opuesta, los tres.
Don't ask me why.
Y me preguntan por qué.
And then the other thing I just wanted to tell you,
Y lo otro que les quiero decir,
This has been a project I'm really so
Oh,
proud
yeah.
of.
Este es un proyecto que estoy muy orgulloso
The
de.
Ahavat Olam Sidur.
El Sidur Ahavat Olam.
So I wrote a commentary
Escribir los comentarios
on all the Shacharit.
en todo el servicio para el Shacharit.
Back to Mashiach. So
Tu conectarnos de regreso al
that's very
Mashiach.
important,
Eso es
okay?
muy importante.
And the last thing I've done,
Y lo último que he hecho,
we put a course.
hemos puesto un curso.
And if you bet the book, you get the course for like 50%.
Ajá, si tú obtienes el libro, también tenemos el curso por
Including the
50%,
study notes.
incluyendo las notas de estudio.
Thank you for those working in our yeshiva. They
Gracias por
translated
esos que trabajan en la
Tamar
yeshiva.
Hartman especially.
La traducción que ha hecho Tamar
She even
Hartman,
translated the
especialmente.
study notes
Ella tradujo hasta las notas de estudio
to Spanish.
a español.
A lot. Shalom Chavurat HaMashiach. My name is Rabbi Dr. Yitzchak Shapira, and I'm so excited by your invitation by Rabbi Yoshua to invite me to share with you on July 13, 7 p.m. I am going to be speaking from two of my recent books, The Good News According to COVID-19 and from the Rivka Remnant, a special Shiur Torah that is focused on Shacharit Hayamim. In the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, there's a question that is presented to all of us. What kind of people should we be in those last days? Or in Hebrew, Shacharit Hayamim. What we should do? How should we prepare? And most importantly, how can we hasten the Geulah, the redemption? So I'm looking forward to share with you a view, a eschatological view from a Jewish eye view on Shacharit Hayamim, these last days, so that we all can get ready and prepare for these days ahead. God bless you, and again, thank you for the invitation, Rabbi Yeshua. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you guys in person. Friends, I hope this Shiur Torah was a blessing to you as it was for me to be with you. And now I just want to tell you again, Shabbat Shalom, welcome, hit the like, hit the share. Please don't forget, well, you see how dangerous it is when your office is outdoor. That's pretty wild today. Again, we are on the road. So we took the time to make sure that you have this Shabbat service available for you. Remember, Wednesday I am teaching in Spokane, Washington. Thursday, teaching for Parashat Balak in Wenatchee, Washington. And then Shabbat and Sunday, special yeshiva, I am with Pastor Mark Belts. Make sure that you're coming to Tacoma, Washington. Special yeshiva on the book of Haggai, free of charge. Come on in. That is our gift for you. Friend, if you're blessed with the work that we're doing here at Ahavat Amim Ministries, please consider supporting this work and be part of this. This is the move of God of these last days. Pray for us. We are in the process of heading to Korea here in the next 2 weeks, and before that, Dominican Republic. We are signing an historic agreement with the government as we are launching the yeshiva there. $200,000 worth of scholarship. This is what you are supporting, beloved. So every dime, every penny that you're putting in, going for outreach, thank you for continuing to supporting it. We are so desperately need this great support. Africa, the synagogue is about to launch. Matter of fact, please take a moment to watch this video with me a little bit later, and I hope that this will cause you to be stirred and understand what God is doing in these last days. But now I want you to enter into this very special Shacharit with Jackson and Noach. What a dynamic duo those two are together. God bless you. Shabbat Shalom. We love you.
Shabbat Shalom to everyone. We welcome you to join in with us into Shacharit with a very special version of Matovu and entering into Psuke de Zimma and to Shema and to Amidah. This is a time for praise and worship to Hashem this morning on Shabbat. We welcome you to join with us.
Come on, everyone. enter in. We are praising His name. Shabbat Shalom. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, שכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. Everybody listen, gather around. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. Listen to those words, come on, yeah, come on, listen to them, because they are good, very good words. Bilam spoke, they meant to curse Israel. He ended up blessing them instead, the donkey of the Lord, but he still ended up being mad. Matovu Olecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matovu Yaakov, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו, מה טובו, מה טובו, מה טובו אוהליך. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו אוהליך יעקב, משכנותיך ישראל. מה טובו, מה טובו, מה טובו, מה טובו אוהליך ישראל.
אדון עולם השם הלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, בעת נעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשיל לו להכבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, ולא העוז והמשרה. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, בצור חבלי בעת צרה. והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום מלכה, מנת כוסי ביום מלכה. וידו אקיד וכי בעת אישן והעירה, ואמרוכי יביאתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא, אדוני לי ולא אירא. ונקדשות הגל נפשי, משיחנו ישלח מהרה, ואז נשיר בבית קודשי, אמן אמן שם הנורא, אמן אמן שם הנורא. We're coming now to Shir Lamalot, Psalm 121.
שיר למעלות
אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי? עזרי מעם השם עושה שמיים וארץ, אל יתן לעמוד רגליך, אל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא ישן שומר ישראל, השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד מימינך. הנה לא ינום ולא ישן שומר ישראל, השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך. מעתה והלאה, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. One more time. מעתה ועד עולם. הנה לא ינום, הנה לא ינום ולא ישן שומר ישראל, השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך. הנה לא ינום ולא ישן שומר ישראל, השם שומרך, השם צילך, על יד ימינך.
מעתה ועד עולם.
מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאלוהי האלוהים כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. אלוהי האלוהים כי לעולם חסדו, לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאדוני האדונים כי לעולם חסדו, ועושה נפלאות גדולות ובאות, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו, כי לעולם חסדו. נותן לחם לכל בשר, כי לעולם חסדו. הודו לאל השמיים כי לעולם חסדו, 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 כי לעולם חסדו. Amen.
Amen, amen. We're coming now to the Ashway. We're praising Hashem through every Hebrew alphabet letter as we go through the Ashway, and we praise Him with all of ourselves, even the trials and the tribulations. We praise Him with those two. Ashrei yoshvei betecha od yehallelucha sela ashrei ha'am shekacha lo ashrei ha'am sh'Adonai Eloham te'ila ledavid arom mimcha Elohai HaMelech v'avarecha shimcha le'olam va'ed b'chol yom avarechecha v'hallela shimcha l'olam va'ed gadol Adonai u'me'olam me'od ולגדולתו אין חקר דולדוי שבח מעשיך וגבורותיך יגידו הדר כבודך בדברי נפלותיך שיחה וזוזותיך יאמרו וגאולתך עשה בעינה זכר עבדוך יביאו בצדקתך יעננו חנו מרחום אדוני ערך אפיים וגדול חסד טוב אדוני לילה כל ורחמיו על כל יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך וחסידיך יברכוך כבוד מלכותך יאמרו וגבורתך ידברו להודיע לבני אדם גבורותיו וכל אדם מעלתו מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים וזוקף לכל הכפופים עיני חולך יסברו ואתה נותן לכם את אוכלם ביתו פותח את ידך ומטביע לכל חי רצון צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו וחסין בכל מעשיו קרוב אדוני לכל קוריו לכל אשר יקראו באמת רצון יעשה ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו ואת כל רשעים ישמיד תהילת אדוני ידבר בי ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם הללויה הללויה We are singing praises to Him, and we're singing to Him a new song. As the rabbis tell us that there will be a new note on the musical scale, and we're practicing for that day of Messiah when He hands each of us a new instrument with a new scale, with a new melody.
It's like the music school of Mashiach. Mashiach's music school. I'm looking forward to it.
And at that point, we'll all be in perfect harmony.
And playing different instruments too. There'll be no bongos, no guitars, and no whatever. It'll be all different.
Amen, amen, amen. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, תהילתו בגהר חסידים. ישמח ישראל בעוזיו, בני ציון יגילו במלכם. יעללו שמו במחול, בטוב וכינוי יזמרו לו. כי רוצה אדוני בעמו, יפאר הנביאים ישועה. הללויה, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש. הללויה, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, תהילתו בגהר חסידים. ישמח ישראל בעוזיו, בני ציון יגילו במלכם. יהללו שמו במחול, בטוב וכינוי יזמרו לו. כי רוצה אדוני בעמו, יפאר הנביאים ישועה. הללויה, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש. 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 הללויה בקודשו, הללויה ברכיה עוזו, הללויה בגבורותיו, הללויה כולו. הללויה, 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 הללויה בתק השופר, הללויה בנר וכינור, הללויה בטוב ומחול, הללויה במילי ועוגב. Hallelujah, 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 בציוץ לשמה, hallelujah, בציוץ לתורה, כל הנשמה תהלליה. הללויה, הללויה, כל הנשמה תהלליה. הללויה, 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 hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. נשמת כל חי תברך את שמך שמך אדוני אלוהינו נשמת כל חי נשמת כל חי תברך את שמך אדוני אלוהינו ורוח כל בשר תבואהו תרומם ורוח כל בשר תבואהו תרומם זכרך מלכנו תמיד מן העולם ועד העולם אתה אל מן העולם ועד העולם אתה אל נשמת כל חי נשמת כל חי תברך את שמך אדוני אלוהינו ורוח כל בשר תבואהו תרומם ורוח כל בשר תבואהו תרומם זכרך מלכנו תמיד מן העולם ועד העולם אתה אל מן העולם ועד העולם Amen. Noach, do you want to take us, starting from here, from the Shochenat onward?
שוכנת מרום וקדוש שמו וכתוב עלינו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נבע תהילה בפי השרים תתהלל ודברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תתרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש אמן ומחלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל פרש מלחמתנו בכל לבדו שכן כל העץ ובאלוהי אבותינו להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לרומם, להדר, לברך, ולקלס על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך אמן ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו ברכות והודאות מהתחלה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודעות, אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך אל חיי העולמים.
Amen.
We now continue with the Chatzi Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
וילמד חירותי וימליך מלכותי וישמח פורקני ויקרב ישוע משיחי.
Amen.
בחיי חון וביומי חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen. יש מרבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמד קודשה וכו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתם ונחמתה תאמירן מעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ואת הכל.
Amen.
הכל יודוך וכל ישבחוך. אין כאחד אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס בלתך גואלנו לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים.
Amen. We come now to the Shema and we cover our eyes. We say together, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאוהות על ידיך, והיו לטפחות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Amen.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת להם ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי ויגיהם לדורותם ונתנו על ציצית הקנה תתכלת והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תעתורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריכם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת אדוני אלוהיכם
We continue to page 35 as we are singing the Mikamocha, and this is leading us into the standing prayer, the Amidah. Tehilot le'el elyon, Baruch hu mevorach, Moshe b'nei Yisrael, lechanu shira b'simcha rabba, ואמרו כולם מי כמוך בלים אדוני מי כמוך נראה בקודש נורא תהילות עוזב מי כמוך בלים אדוני מי כמוך נראה בקודש נורא תהילות עוזב שיר חדשה שיבחו גדולים לשמך צפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו דמרו שיר חדשה שיבחו גדולים לשמך צפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו דמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ובדחילו ממך יהודה בישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל Adonai Sivtai Tivtachu Fi Yagid Eletecha Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Velohei Yaakov האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים מקיים מנתו לשני עבר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי תו מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה המתים. Page 38, the Kedusha. נקדש את שמך מעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב היה נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל העת כבודו אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול נתנשאים נאומת צרפים נאומתם ברוך יומהו אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מתנשאים נאומת צרפים נאומתם ברוך יומהו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו ממקומך מלכנו מתי תמלוך בציון בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים לדור ודור לדור ודור לנצח נצחים ועינינו תראינה מלכותך כדבר אמור בשירי עוזך על ידי דוד Mashiach tzidkecha. Yimloch Adonai leolam Elohaich Zion Ledor vador Hallelujah. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador nagid God lecha. ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לא ימוש לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד God לך. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד God לך. כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה וקדוש אתה. כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה וקדוש אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Page 41, the Kiddushat Hayom for Shabbat. Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko, ki heved neman karata lo, kelil tiferet berosho natato. כתוב בתורתך ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. Page 42. ולא נתתו אדוני אלוהינו לגוי הארצות, ולא הנחלתו מלכנו לעבדי וסילים, וגם במנוחתו לא ישכנו ערלים. כי לישראל עמך נתתו באהבה, לזרע יעקב אשר בם בחרת. עם מקדשי שביעי כולם יספרו מטובך, ובשביעי עשית בו וקידשתו חמדת ימים אותו קראת. זכר למעשה וראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך. צמאנו מטובך וסלחנו בשורתך, ותהה ליבנו לעבדך באמת. והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ורצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו בו ישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Moving on to Etzei, page 43. Yitzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amcha Yisrael v'tfilatam V'hashev et avon talid v'irbetecha V'shei Yisrael Tfilatam be'ahavat geber beratzon Utehi atzon tamid avdat Yisrael amecha V'techezena einenu Beshucha leTzion berachamim Baruch atah Adonai Hamachazir Shchinato leTzion Modim anachnu lach Shetohu Adonai Eloheinu V'Elokei Avotenu Le'olam v'ohed Tzur chayenu agen ishenu Atahu l'dor v'ador nodeh lecha Tzaper tilatecha Al chayenu mesuim bi'adecha V'al nishbotenu abigdol lach V'al nisecha shebechol yom imanu ועל נפלאותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. הטוב כי לא חלו חמך, המרחם כי לא תמו חסדיך, מעולם קיווינו לך. ועל כולם יתברך יתומם שמך מלכנו, תמיד לעולם ועד. וכל החיים יודוך סלע ויהללו את שמך באמת. הישועתנו עזרתנו סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך, ולך נאה להודות. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. We are in Parashat Chukat, Numbers chapter 19, starting in verse 1. וידבר אדוני אל משה ואל אהרון לאמור, זאת חוקת התורה אשר ציווה אדוני לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ויקחו אליך ורדומה תמימה אשר אין בה מום, אשר לא עלה עליה עול. ונתתם אותה אל אלעזר הכהן, והוציא אותה אל מחוץ למחנה, ושחט אותה לפניו, ולקח אלעזר הכהן מדמה באצבעו, והיזה אל נוכח פני אוהל מועד מדמה 7 פעמים, ושרף את הפרה לעיניו, את אורה ואת בשרה ואת דמה על פרשה ישרוף. ולקח הכהן עץ ארז באזוב ושני תולעת, והשליך אל תוך שרפת הפרה, וכיבס בגדיו הכהן, ורחץ בשרו במים, ואחר יבוא אל המחנה, וטמא הכהן עד הערב. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה. Amen. We continue to our Haftarah reading. We begin with the bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim ve'atzav et divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher batorav Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo v'nvi'ei ha'emet Vatzedek. Amen. We are in Judges chapter 11, starting in verse 30. Vayida yiftach neder l'Adonai vayomar im natun titen et bnei Amon be'adi v'haya hayotze asher yetze midal tevati likrati בשובי ושלום מבני עמון והיה לאדוני והעליתיהו עולה ויעבור יפתח אל בני עמון להילחם בם ויתנם אדוני בידו ויקם מערוער ועד בואכה מינית 20 עיר ועד אבל כרמים מכה גדולה מאוד ויקנאו בני עמון מפני בני ישראל. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם צור כל העולמים צדיק בכל הדורות האל הנאמן המבוסה המדבר מקיים שכל דבריו אמת וצדק נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ונאמנים דבריך ודבר אחד מדבריך אכל לא ישוב ריקם כי אל מלך נאמן ורחמן אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הנאמן בכל דבריו רחם על ציון כי בית חיינו ולעלובת נפש תושיע ותקום נקום במהרה בימינו. ברוך אתה אדוני משמח ציון בבניה. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו באליהו הנביא עבדך ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו על כיסאו לא ישב זר ולא ינחלו עוד אחרים את כבודו כבשם קודשך נשבעת לו שלא יכבה נר לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן דוד. We continue to the Brit Chadashah blessings. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Mashiach Yeshua v'advarim sha'abrit chadashah. Baruch atah Adonai noten habrit chadashah. Amen. We are reading in John 14 verses 15 through 21. If you love me, you will keep my commands, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another comforting counselor like me, the Spirit of truth, to be with you forever. The world cannot receive him because it neither sees nor knows him. You know him because he is staying with you and will be united with you. I will not leave you orphans. I am coming to you. In just a little while, the world will no longer see me, but you will see me. Because I live, you too will live. When that day comes, you will know that I am united with my Father, and you with me, and I with you. Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me, and the one who loves me will be loved by my Father, and I will love him and reveal myself to him. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu dvar emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten habrit chadashah. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I hope you've been blessed by this wonderful Shacharit. We can't wait. We can't wait for November coming, the Remnant 2022 conference. Friends, if you have not had a chance to sign out, Remnant 2022 is a game-changing event, global event in Orlando, Florida. We have heavily discounted it, included a couple of meals basically as part of your ticketing. It's going to be spectacular. Register and come on in. Your life will be changing from this conference. Friends, we want you to enter to intense prayer time, both for Africa, for the Dominican Republic, for Korea. This is where I want you to pray specifically right now. Real quick, Africa, we are launching with 70 students the Bible Messianic Jewish program inside the Bible school. This is an historic moment, and we put together a phenomenal program, and we scholarship it 100%, $105,000 worth of scholarships. Friends, we need your prayers just to be able to financially afford it, but also to be able to go and minister in power. Thank you for this prayer that you are praying with us and supporting. This is very important. South Korea, we took a decision that we're going to print everything in Korean for the South Koreans inside South Korea. This is our gift for the South Korean people, to do it, to make it easier for them financially. Thank you for praying for this and supporting it, especially now the Rivka Remnant is printing next week in Korean. It's a huge moment. The German is printing right now. It's a huge moment. We are really excited by this, friend. I'm going to head there for quite a few teachings, very intense 1 week trip. Friend, pray number one for my protection and safety, and number two, please pray. Please be in very strong prayer also for the power of God to move among the people. And number three, also Dominican Republic. 137 scholarships launching in a week. Next week, I am with Pastor Belt, and then after that, I am in the Dominican Republic. Friends, we need prayers. We've made a commitment of over $200,000 and a lot of players to launch a program called El Retorno. All the scholarship has been taken. We're expecting 100%. Please pray for the success among the Sfaradim for this project. All of those projects, friends, are so complicated and so difficult, and we need your prayers. We need your financial support. Thank you so much. And then I want to talk with you in a moment about Africa. Friend, God is giving us an opportunity to launch a synagogue. And to launch all of these, we're looking at over $75,000, roughly about $100,000, but we are trying to raise up $75,000 of founding members of this synagogue. We're putting a giant wooden piece that's going to have 75 steps, and any person who gives $1,000 or more becoming a founding member, like a patron of this synagogue. And we are asking you today to believe with us that we can establish the very first true Messianic synagogue in Harare, Zimbabwe, among our remnant, among our people. It is time, and we need to do it in excellence. It's involved electrical equipment, Torahs, haftarahs, training, facility, so many additional costs. We are paying rental for the facility. It's all supernatural, but we have to do our part. If God is telling you today, to you, to go and to be a founding member of this synagogue, please go to this link. Just put $1,000 if you can afford it, and your name is going to be there forever as a founding member of the very first Messianic synagogue. So friend, this is an historic opportunity. I'm asking you to really take it seriously. Thank you so much. Before we get into the Shiur Torah today, friends, guess what? we are launching some more Rivka Remnant episode for you. This is shaking many ground. Check out the shiur from this week. I'll be back from the shiur Torah for this Shabbat. Thank you so much for being here and for your prayers. Wednesday, we are in Spokane. Thursday, we are in Wenatchee. Next Shabbat, Pastor Belt's Sunday Special Yeshiva. Shalom everybody, and welcome to the Rivka journey. I hope you have been blessed by it and you had a chance to read the book, go through those lessons together with us and take advantage. Now we have the Rivka journey course available, and we hope that whatever you are, whoever you are, if it's English or Spanish or Korean or French or Dutch, this Rivka journey is a meaningful journey for you. Today I want to talk for a moment about not just the Rivka journey, but talk about the Eliezer journey. We're focusing so much about Rivka, but we forget to talk about Eliezer. His name Eliezer means Eliezer. The Lord is my helper. Now, it is interesting that as Rivka gets into her fullness throughout this journey, so as Eliezer. The text is telling us something really important about Eliezer's transformation as he's fulfilling the role. Remember that Eliezer and the role of Eliezer represent those who are 1 foot in this journey, it's an ministerial journey to the Rivka to bring the remnant, and in the other foot they are also on their way to the house of Yitzchak, the house of Isaac, to the Jewish people. It is important for us as Messianic Jews not to lose the way of where we are to restore the nations to. Where to take them? We have to take them back to the house of Israel, but to make sure that they don't lose the precious cargo that they are carrying back to the house of Israel, representing the Messiah themselves. Therefore, people ask me all the time the question, should I convert? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, you are to have a conversion of the heart, meaning that you are to convert in a way that the house of Israel can recognize that you're carrying something special, but no, according to the conversion of the flesh, because it is Yitzchak himself who's going to be judging and looking at Rivka through a spiritual lens. And what is this test? As I explained in the book, it's a test of light. What kind of light, what the quality of light, and what is the spirit beyond Rivka. And today we have to bring something special and unique to the house of Israel. If we all convert to Judaism and we have nothing spiritual to bring to the house of Israel, then Isaac himself cannot be fooled. The Jewish people need the light that is found in the one who say, I am the light of the world. He is the Messiah. Now check out what's happened to Eliezer today. As some of you know, I am a Messianic Jewish rabbi, meaning I love Judaism, I love my Jewish identity, but I'm also following the Messiah, Yeshua. Now, it's important to understand that I cannot be in my fullness unless the Gentiles are joining themselves to the journey with me. That's why we need you from the nations to join it. What do I mean by that? Listen with what he says. He says, and Rivka and her bridesmaid, they got up and they said, they rode the camel. This is a metaphor for the fact that they wanted to rise up above where they were and rise up above the physical to a spiritual level. Camel represent defilement, and riding represent rising above the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, to the next level. And it says, Vatelchena. Again, what is the word telchena? Like Genesis chapter 12. Lech lecha. It is a journey, not just of the mind. It's a physical journey. Today, if you're from the nations, you have to choose to walk it out. And who do they walk out after? Aish. Look at this word ish, vayikach ha'eved et Rivka. This is very interesting. Eliezer have two names. He called the man, but he's also called the servant. And he took Rivka and he walked. When did he become the servant of the Lord? The word the servant represents the higher altitude. It's the picture of the Messiah, who according to Isaiah 52:13 called this servant of the Lord. He is becoming the Messiah to Rivka, Eliezer. But when did he fulfill his messianic role? Only, friends, only when he took Rivka. If we as Jews, as today many Jewish people, prefer to see Gentiles remaining in normative Christianity rather than help them up in the journey all the way up to the house of Isaac. If we do not allow it as Messianic Jews, this type of journey, a Rivka journey, we not only harming Rivka, the nations, but we are harming ourselves, because he's still called Aish, he's still the man until he fulfills his role as the servant of the Lord. What can we learn about this from Eliezer today? Number one, we need an Eliezer. The Messianic Jewish movement must be an Eliezer to the nations, to the church. Number two, it is in the benefit of us, Messianic Jews, to take upon ourselves this type of identity of a man where 10 Gentiles are holding our tzitzit. Why? Because if we do this, we as Messianic Jews are benefiting from that just as much as you are benefiting from that. So what we should be today for you, we should be, as Jewish believer in the Messiah, your greatest cheerleader. Your success of coming out of this system of Rome into the house of Yitzhak with Yeshua means that the salvation is coming to us. So we see that in Isaiah chapter 2. It says to the nations, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. It doesn't say to the Jews, it says to the Gentiles. But the very next verse says, and to you, Jacob, let you go and walk into the light, in the light. What is the light? The light, friend, is Torah. If we as Messianic Jews do not know the path of Torah, we don't take upon ourselves confidential relationship of Torah, how on earth can we lead the Gentiles in this same path? So today our task is very simple. We have to take upon ourselves our identity, the path of Mashiach with Torah, so that we lead the Gentiles to walk together and cheer for them. And that's why in Jeremiah chapter 31, the prophet said that we, Jacob, are to cheer for the Gentiles who are coming through this path. Friend, who is the remnant? The remnant is the Jew who is leading the way for the Gentile to come and walk into this path. Let us walk it together. Let's see the resurrection of Eliezer, the resurrection of Messianic Judaism, and the resurrection of Rivka on these last days. I hope you've been blessed, friend. You get the book, read the book, get excited. We are walking it up together. Shalom, everybody. להתראות. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome. As you can see, I am not in my office today. We are on the road this weekend, and I didn't want to pass out of this opportunity to give you a devout Torah for today. So we're going to go old school today, as you can see. I jotted a few of my notes on a piece of paper today. No PowerPoints, no slides, nothing fancy, just me and you here standing right before sundown giving your shiur Torah from that Chukat. I hope that it will be a blessing to you, although I'm in the outdoors, to receive this word today. In this Torah portion, this Shabbat, we are reading about the event that's known as the burning of the Para Aduma, or the red heifer. Now, we are seeing very complicated ritual that takes place with the Para Aduma. If you have your Bible today, I will focus on the Hebrew. We want to look at verses, chapter 19, verse 7, 8, and 9. And I will paraphrase it to you today. Since there are no PowerPoints, I will stick with the Hebrew, and hopefully together we will be able to understand this. It says that the entire ordeal of burning the Para Aduma have to be taken place by the Kohen. It says, ויכבס בגדיו הכהן ורחץ בשרו במים. It says that the high priest had to wash his clothes and then rinse his flesh, and only then ואחר יבוא אל המחנה, and only then he will come to the מחנה. וטמא הכהן עד הערב, he was unclean until the evening. But then, after this ritualistic thing that happened, another person would have to come. It says, "Ve'asaf ish ta'or," a man that is a pir ta'or, which is not the same thing as holy. You need to make yourself a distinction. A man who is called in Hebrew ta'or. We have to understand what is a ta'or. He took the afar, the ashes of the Para Aduma, והניח מחוץ למחנה. He took it outside the camp, במקום טהור, in a holy place, והייתה לעדת בני ישראל, for the community of house of Israel, it became a place that is called Mishmeret. Now, we have to understand something, למishmer. Every time we see the word לשמרו, like ושמרו בני ישראל, it represents something that is holy. First of all, we have to understand what the Para Aduma represent, and we have to understand this. Listen to what the Midrash says. Who and what the Para Aduma represent? It says, Lomdei Torah. Those who are the practitioners of Torah, Nikraim Parot, they called, and it's a remez, a clue to the tzaddikim, for the righteousness, the righteous who are complete, who are walking in the gevurah, in the might. And what did they do? They sweetening the judgment and sweetening the Para Aduma, the red heifer. We have to understand what and who the Para Aduma represent. Remember, it's had to be taken outside the camp. According to the book of Hebrew, written to the Messianic Jews, when Paul says to the Messianic Jew, God, come now, let us go outside the camp, bearing his disgrace, what Rav Shaul referring to, he is referring for this Ish Ta'or, to this man who is purified man, who is to take the ashes outside the camp, and in that way it's become a testimony for the entire Bnei Israel. In essence, what Rav Shaul is telling us here, that we are to be like this Ish Ta'or. We'll take the Para Aduma, the Admoni, outside the camp, so we will become holy. The ashes will become holy for all of Israel. Well, who is the one who is called Admoni? The word Admoni refers to only two people in the Bible. Esav is called Admoni. He's called Admoni. And if we know that if we take the word Esav and we flip the letters of the word Esav, we get the name Yeshua. Who else is called Admoni? It's King David. The Midrash teaches us that when King David was born, he was Admoni, and they took him to Samuel. And Samuel, he's looked upon him, and he was shocked because he resembled almost identically Esav. There are only two that it called Admoni that are representative of this Para Aduma, and both of them represent the Mashiach. Now, how is this Para Aduma become holy for the entire of Israel? I want you to understand that there are two components here. There is the component of the Kohen, and what the Kohen had to do. Israel is called Mamlechet Kohanim, a nation of priests. But here the text is telling us that there is another man who is called Ish Tahor. And we understand the identity of the Ish Tahor. The identity of the Ish Tahor and the purpose of Ish Tahor is to use the remain of the Para Aduma to bring Israel, all of Israel, to become holy. And if you burn something, you ended up with its essence. And this is what I would like to describe to you today, that there is a calling and a purpose on your life today to become like an Ish Tahor, meaning you are to burn, to take the things that are left and take them outside, so as the text says that Israel will become for Israel like mishmor, this becomes something that Israel guard. So who is this Ish Tahor? Who is this man who is taking the essence of the Para Aduma, the essence of the Mashiach out? Listen to what the text says again. Let's pay attention to the text. The text saying here, Ve'asaf Ish Tahor. I want to deal first of all with the first word, Ve'asaf. The word Asaf, have a linguistic clue. He's talking about Sukkot. The word Asaf speaking about the ingather. Who is this person? It is a person who is in gathering others around him. He is in gathering the remnant of the Para Aduma, the remnant of Edom, the remnant of Esav, and he's bringing it back in. You see, we're speaking so much about remnant. Well, guess what? The job of the remnant others around. Our job today to gather somebody else around us to be able to go. This a remnant of the Para Aduma, the remnant of Mashiach, and all over the world. And here the Midrash is giving to what the Midrash says. It says, Ve'asaf ametzu. Who is the one who is called the holy man? Oh, you would think, oh, he's a wonderful man. No, he is a man who become a leper. He's one who take upon himself the identity of the Para Aduma. He's take himself that tumah. Remember, everybody who come in contact with the Para Aduma becoming tameh. He's becoming unclean. And here it says, who is he? He is called the leper. And who is he in gathering? Ve'asaf Nidchei Israel. You want to know who is the Ish Tahor? Who find the remnant of the Para Aduma, of the Admoni, of Esav, of David the Melech, and bring them back in. Let me tell you who it is. Who is one go to the four corners of the earth and gather the holy Jewish spark, the sparks of the house of Israel that is found inside the Para Aduma. It should not be a coincidence to anybody. You want to know where this remnant is found? They are finding in Christianity today, in the gathering, in the Anusim, in the Lemba tribe, in the Hebrew tribe, whoa, you see how I'm getting so excited here, my goodness. And here it says, Besorah nechsh. The moment he is taking out the ashes, it says he is considered as good as dead. אוקיי? כשם שעפר הפרה מטהרת, כך גם תפילות הצדיקים. This is very important. This is very significant. I want you to hear what I'm telling you here, that the Midrash is saying. The Midrash is suggesting that by taking the ashes, by gathering the sparks, by gathering the house of Israel, it is equivalent for the prayers of the righteous, but it also means that the one who is busy in the process of gathering, he is good as dead. The moment that you decide to gather the ashes of the Parah Adumah, to restore the Parah Adumah, so all of Israel will have this as salvation, guess what's happened to you? You are good as dead. So when Paul says, come now, let us go outside the camp to gather the ashes of the Parah Adumah, basically what is challenging us in the book of Hebrew is with this. He says, are you willing to die in order to gathering the Jewish sparks? And that is the result. Listen to what the result of the gathering of the Midrash continue and connected it to Isaiah 35:6 that says, then the lame shall leap like a gazelle, and those who cannot, the tongue of the dumb shall shout aloud. What will happen to those sparks that are being resurrected? They're going to be raising up from the dead. In essence, when we go at the business all throughout the world to find Isa, to find sparks in Christianity and pull them out, we are saying we are willing to die so that others will be entering in. Now listen to this. This word that is used to describe the man is tahor. Remember what I explained to you before. Tahor is a word, now it's used this word here, ish tahor. But we have a problem with the word ish. The word ish is not the same as the word Adam. When you see this word Adam mentioned, is a man who is walking in his fullness. But when you see the word Ish mentioned, it's a man who is fighting. He's a man who is struggling. He's struggling against his Yetzer Hara. He is fighting a good fight. For example, the Torah mentioned this term. Ish Tahor, a man that is pure. Ish Tameh, a man who is defiled. Ish Tzaddik, a man who is righteous. Ish Besorah, a man who is just like a leper. There is a reason that the Torah is saying Ish Tahor. It is a man like you, like me, who is imperfect. He is imperfect, but he is tahor. Well, what does it mean to be tahor? Tahor is equivalent in the Holy Tongue for what the Midrash says, for kedusha, to set apart the sparks, to find the spark of this ruddiness that has been lost 2,000 years ago in Christianity. And he is the one who he is saying, I am dedicating my life to pull them out. But he's not a perfect man. He's a man that's going through many, many things. Ish is a person who struggles. Hey, listen to me, brothers and sisters. If you are struggling today, does not mean that you are disqualified by returning Kedusha. What we need to do is commit yourself to bring Kedusha by gathering those sparks. It doesn't mean that you're perfect. It means that you're willing to go outside for a journey. It's like the Enterprise going out to a place no man is going before. Look at what is happening now. Next 2 weeks, we are signing this agreement with Dominican Republic, the first event in the history of Messianic Judaism. We are going to launch next year the yeshiva in Korean, the first Messianic yeshiva ever to launch in Korean. In Africa, we're going to launch the very first Messianic Jewish synagogue. Does it mean that all of those projects going to be perfect? The answer is yes. They are going to be perfect because our focus is on the gathering the spark. It doesn't mean that physically everything going to be perfect, but what it is going to do, it's going to cause the children of Israel to guard this afar, these ashes, because we strip out of Christianity, we strip out of it the things that are not holy, and we ended up with something that is holy. So today I want to tell you something, friends. If you have a ministry, Hey, as long as your ministry is focused in collecting those sparks, okay, not only that you're considered good as dead, but that's not such a good news, right? But it's mean that others will be resurrected because of your ability to become a leper. What did he say in the book of Isaiah chapter 22? Who will receive the key of David? The one who's willing to put on the robe of Joseph. Today I encourage you, take the robe of Joseph by willing to die. Willing to die for other ones around yourself. I didn't choose my life. God is giving me opportunity. He said, are you willing to die to what you want? To do what I want you to do. Many of you know my story. I was a CEO of a company that I founded, very successful, very fortunate. And one day God says to me, are you willing to put your treasures aside to store the treasures in heaven? And it was painful. It was very difficult decision. I had to die as long as for him to live, not just in me, but to bring the message of life to those who are around me. Again, what is his pre-qualification? What is the word for asaf? Asaf, the Hebrew word asepha, mean to ingather. Beloved, we are getting ready for the greatest ingathering in human history right now. And it's an ingathering of every nation, every tribe, and every tongue. And we invite you to be part of this asepha today. So what do we have to do? Listen to this. We have to take them outside the camp. Yes, you need to pull outside your camp. Oh, I'm Jewish. Oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, I'm so-and-so. We all have camps, beloved. And God is telling us today, we need to walk outside of a camp. Yeah, outside of the camp is a place that is uncomfortable for us because we're no man's land. Who are the Messianic Jews today? For the Christians, we're not Christians. For the Jews, we're not Jews. It's a difficult place for us to be in, beloved. But let me tell you something about this place, is Makom Tahor. He's a place that he's going to bring holiness to those who are coming to this place. Why? Because Yeshua is in this place. And I'm not talking about Yeshua of Christianity or Yeshua of Judaism, the way Judaism today, 2,000 years later, portray Yeshua. It's the Yeshua, the authentic Yeshua. And you know what? When you found it yourself in the place, the authentic Yeshua, there is place to be. It's a place of holiness, and that will be a beacon to the house of Israel to say, I am returning to Kedusha. So let me give you those principles again, and I want to pray for you today. Torah is like being in the Torah. That's what Chazal is telling. It's like being this red heifer. He's willing to go out, take the ashes out, willing to be taken out, willing to be dying so that other will live. This is the time of the ingathering. I love this about Rivka. When Rivka started the journey, she didn't say bye-bye, hasta la vista. She turned around, so she brought her bridesmaid. Let us not be selfish today and think that the journey just belongs to us. It's not just belong to us. Why we are fighting, and that's why we tell you, support us, support this work. Because we need to bring as many people to this journey today. This journey does not just belong to the Kohen, to the Jew. It's belong to the Ishtar, and I believe that the Ishtar is none other than the remnant. The remnant. And what the remnant does? The remnant bringing more remnant in. So I am encouraging you today. Let's be like this remnant that's going to bring additional remnant in so that Israel, but it's that Israel will protect it. Not defile it, not curse it, but rather Israel will protect it. It's time for Israel to protect the Messiah. It is time for the lame to leap and those who cannot speak to be able to speak. And who is doing it? Oh, some super rabbi? No! Ish! Ish! You are Ish! I'm Ish! I'm not perfect, you're not perfect! We're struggling. God is using ordinary people to do extraordinary work today, friends. It's all come down to the question, are you willing to become this leper and die so that others will come? Lord, in the name of Yeshua, I pray today that we will die in carrying the authentic Messiah out, the afar, to Ish, Tahor, and in that all of Israel will see it and will be saved, and the remnant from the church will see it and will be saved, and the remnant of the Kohanim will see it and will be saved, and all of Israel will be saved in these days. In the name of Yeshua, what a great commission you've given each and every one of us to become this Ish Tahor. Ish Tahor. I pray upon you today that you will become Ish Tahor. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I hope this ministered to your heart as it ministered to me. God bless you. It's so good to be with you. Keep us in prayer.
Yeah, man, my name is Jimmy. I come from Jamaica, bro. We're gonna sing Mato Vu. Oh, 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 Mato Vu. Oh, Alecha, Yaakov. Bishkelotecha Yisrael, Ma tovu alecha Yaakov. Mishkelotecha Yisrael. This comes from the portion of Balak. Bilam thinks he's gonna curse Israel, but really in the end, his plan derails into nothing and it ends up blessing Israel. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. Bilam thinks he's bad, he's really good because he blessed Israel instead of putting them in a bad mood. He did not curse them, he did bless them. He blessed them with these words. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Yo, Bilam did not curse Israel, he ended up blessing them with the following words. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. He talked to a donkey, beat it up. He beat it up. But the donkey still loved him a lot and taught him a lot. But he ended up being bad. He never turned a new leaf. He ended up being a villain forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Everybody listen, gather around. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Listen to those words. Research them. The translation in English, they are good. Good words Bilam spoke, but he meant to curse Israel. He ended up blessing them instead. The donkey helped a lot, but he still ended up being bad. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matavu alecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Matavu אוהליך, מה טובו אוהליך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל ישראל